Good. Oh, where's my camera? Wait, where's my camera? Where's my camera? Hold on just a minute. Where is my camera? Where is my camera? There I am. Oh, my camera's moved over. What's that moved over? We gotta see the little dinosaur. Good morning. Hello, El Gato. Where is Lolo? El Gato had me hand. It had me in the back. It was scuffering me. Hello, Neil. Bonjour, mes amis. Mes amis, how are you? Good morning. With my fake French accent. Hi, Audrey. How you doing, love? Oh my gosh. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Oh, lordy. Look who's snorty. I hope you guys had a great night. I hope you slept well. I slept pretty good, actually. I went to bed a little late, so that's probably why I'm a little like, but I'm still here. I got up on time, so it doesn't matter. No blood, no foul, as my mother would have said. No. Anyway, good morning. Happy Friday. Fuck yeah. I hope it's your Friday. I hope it's yours. But salute. I am fine. I was watching curling highlights before arriving here. Ah, very nice. Very nice. I totally tuned out yesterday, by the way. After the show, I fell asleep, and that was it. Good night, Irene. I didn't wake up until late afternoon. So I apologize because I kind of wanted to watch some of the Olympics on Discord, but I just got too wiped out. So, but that's me. I'm just a lazy girl. What can I say? I'm a lazy girl. I mean, I guess I did. I don't know. I'm starting to believe that I don't need this much sleep. No. You have a lot going on. I think we all do. And I definitely am taking rest where I get it, right? Like, I don't really, at this point, I don't really, it's not like I have to be awake for anything really important. So, I don't know. Sleep is good. Sleep is good. Sorry, I was just looking to see if my fan was on. Anyway, good morning. Happy Friday. Welcome to Wake and Bake with Lolo. I'm Lolo. It's so nice to see you. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you. Hi, Jane. I don't like Mondays. Tell me why I don't like Mondays. Good people of the lounge, Grace Lisa greets you. Good morning, Grace Lisa. How are you today? It's so nice to see you. It's so nice to be seen. That's the other part. I love both of those parts. And I call Lisa Grace Lisa, just in case you know. I don't know. We have nicknames for each other at this show. Welcome. You too can have a nickname if you want to. Jane. Jane, you're making me crazy. You're making me. I don't know what that song. Do. Wait, and then I start singing something else by Fleetwood Mac. Sometimes the tunes really get me. But there's a great Jane. What's that Jane song? Hold on. Jane, you're making me crazy. You're making me. Who did that song? Jefferson Starship. Oh, all right. Awesome. I want the lyrics. Well, actually, I don't really. Even if I have the lyrics, it's probably not going to. I'm going to play it and I'm going to get in trouble, but it's okay. Don't worry about it. Hi, Lee. Good morning, darling. Hi, sister. Happy Friday the 13th. Hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Hooty-hoo-hoo-hoo. Hoodly-hoo-hoo. Let me play this for you a little bit and get in trouble. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. Oh, man, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that to me? Come on, bitch. Okay, let's see. Here we go. Great song. Jane and Jane of the Redwoods, congratulations. You have a great theme song. I love that. Oh my God. I might watch that. I better cut it at the same time you did. Yeah, absolutely. Jane, you're making me crazy. You're making me crazy. I can't remember. I can't sing that high, actually. I don't have that high voice. It's a great song. It's a fucking great song. I'm sorry. Some hair and one about Jane. Oh. I do know that now I have a hankering for a buttery, yummy croissant. What? What you guys are eating? Oh, my God. Optical update. Wait, Grace Lisa went to doctor for scratch on eyeball. Yes. Did you know there is such a thing as a Band-Aid contact lens? Okay, that would make a lot of sense, actually. Now that you say that, it would make a ton of sense. Am I really echoey? Am I really, maybe that's better. I don't know if I'm really echoey. I never realized this whole song is named Jane. It's totally Jane. It's called Jane. It's literally called Jane. So, Jane, you're making me crazy. I don't know why I want to insist on trying to sing that line. Anyway, good morning. Happy Friday to everyone, even if you aren't named Jane, but you got a song if you were, so congratulations to you. We have a couple things coming up. Let me show you what we've got coming up. Not echoey, but a bit low volume. God, what the fuck is wrong with my fucking... Hold on. Is that any better? Are you hearing me now better? I'm not even sure if this works. But are you hearing me now a little bit better? I don't know I don't know how to do this, actually. Is it better? Okay, I don't even know how to do this. How about that? I'm not even sure how to do it. Okay, great. It sounds better in my ear, too. I don't know how it works. The Ballad of Jane is cheesy but good. L.A. Guns, precursor to Guns N' Roses. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I like, it's fun to listen to. Sometimes I have to boost my volume 100%. Wow, that's so weird. I'm sure it's me, you guys. And once I get Bobo is still getting back into the domestic side of work. She had to come back from Hungary and kind of hit the ground running because her job doesn't stop. It just moves locations. So she's back doing that. Oh, Sweet Jane acoustic by Lou Reed. Okay, I'll take that, Jane. That's wonderful. I love Lou Reed. But anyway, I need a little help with my sound engineering. So when Bobo has a moment, she'll look at mine. Maroon 5's album, Songs About Jane. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of songs about Jane. Good morning, Jay Rance. Good morning, love. How are you? We were just talking about Jane songs. There's a lot of Jane songs. So what I have for you this morning, I know it's a Friday, so we don't have it's a little more chill, a little more relaxed, a little more chill, if you will. So we have, but we do have, there's a field hearing, I think started by the Dems. House Committee on Education and Workforce is holding a field committee on work, dignity, and choice in disability employment because work requirements for disability for for public benefits are here, I guess. I don't know. Did he make them in effect yet? I'm a little unclear on that, and I would like to for vocal boosting and smoothing, not this one. Oh wow, I need to figure out how do I do that. I have so much to learn when it comes to sound mixing. I'm sure the show would be tons better if I did that. So we're going to be watching this that starts in a few minutes and checking in and seeing if it's any good. That's the sound of the man working on the Jane King. That's not that song. That's not that. But maybe it's a setting. It might be a setting, and that's why I'm afraid to touch stuff a little bit. So anyway, long story short, once Bobo is able to take a breath, she might be able to look at my sound and figure out what I'm doing wrong, because I'm sure I'm doing something wrong. So we've got this, and then I have a ton of stories to tell you about. And, I will not always capture the hottest stories. So always feel free to say, hey, Lolo, why aren't you paying attention to XYZ? It's only because there's a lot of X's and Y's and Z's. And it's hard to know. Nothing is a priority because everything is a priority. Well, I shouldn't say that. Not everything is a priority. Human rights are a priority. So those are always, for me, they come first. Life, death kind of stuff. And hatred and bigotry. Those are the most important to me, I guess, if we're going to rank things. I don't feel like I have to rank the problems we have, though. Creators can enable let YouTube enhance audio quality in settings channel advanced. Well, here we go. Let's fucking do it. Let's fucking do it. Okay, wait a minute. Wait. YouTube settings channel advanced. I wonder where that is. Is it in studio? Jane, you're making me crazy. You're making me mad. All right, hold on. Settings. Wait, and where is it? Settings, let YouTube and channel setting advanced. Oh, channel advanced. Video quality. Oh, yeah. I already have it checked. Isn't that terrible? I already have it checked. Let YouTube enhance my visual quality. And let YouTube enhance my audio quality. Those have been checked. Hi, Dean. How you doing? Good to see you, Dean Wall. Our Canadian jam maker. Dean has a jam band. Get it? Jam band. That's right. That's right. Good to see you, Dean. Good morning, darling. How are you? As soon as it lands. Neil, as soon as it lands. Let's see. Neil, what'd you say? It's cold here. Did your snow melt? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Did you have snow, Jay? Oh, my gosh. Northern Florida. What are you going to do? It gets cold in Florida in the winter. Hey there, shirt person. Hi, meow, meow. Meowing, meow, meow. Meow, meow, meow. Meow, meow, meow. So a couple stories we're going to go over this morning. Probably we'll see about this hearing. It's going to start any minute. But we're going to talk about we're going to talk about that Canadian bridge. That's right, Neil. We're having a Canadian moment this morning. That's right. Billionaires who lobbied Trump to halt Canadian bridge praise the Easy Bribe app. This is from, what is this from? I don't even know what this is from. But anyway, so that's one thing I want to read about. And then this, I want to just really kind of close the loop because I didn't read you this story yesterday, but we have followed the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation at this show for quite some time, as you well know. We've pretty well documented the sins of the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation since its inception. And I'm happy to see that it has ceased operations and is no longer going to attract people so that they can then be shot. So that's one Israeli genocide arm shut down. I'm sure there's enough to replace them. But anyway, we'll read about that. Let's see, what else have we got this morning? What else? Trump's puzzlingly rosy jobs numbers. I do want to talk about the economy a little bit. I get it. It's like inflation was quoted this morning at 2.4. It's down from 2.7. It's been floating between 2.4 and 2.7 over the last year. And I am curious to dive a little deeper on these rosy economic numbers because I think we're coming into what is called a K-shaped economy. And that means that there is a wider wealth distribution gap. I know, unbelievable. We already had a great, huge, wide, bitchy gap on wealth distribution. Well, guess what, kids? One of the things of the Dump administration is that gap between wealthy and poor is going to get even wider. Because we just, no one will actually say this is what his tax cuts mean, but, we do here on this show. So that's something we want to read and dig down a little deep on. We also want to just read this Wall Street Journal article about one generation runs the country, the next cashed in on crypto. So let's talk about the Crapto boys and what they're up to, maybe if we have time. I want to talk about the SAVE Act. I want to talk about what is being voted on right now, the SAVE Act, which is a incredibly horrible, bad idea about restricting voting rights. And that means Mima, if she can't prove her name change, ain't gonna vote. So it might behoove Republicans to also fight against the SAVE Act because, frankly, it's just a way to suppress votes. Yeah, that's right. And then that next vote might be yours. And then we're going to talk about ICE's largest prison contractors hailing new opportunities to make fucking motherfucking money on the backs of people. Oh, and hold my beer because the real estate brokers are also profiting because of these prison expansions. There's just money to be made, folks, on death, okay? The death brokers will make you money. I want to read this Dave Troy piece if we have time to get to it about the Epstein stuff. I did do some Epstein digging last night. It was not very good. Epstein files show redacted political figure bragging about exceeding Jeb Bush in votes, Kana says. I mean, so I'm just picking up, but I want to talk a little bit about Epstein in terms of how terrible it was. And then Cato, the hero we didn't think we needed or wanted, frankly, the libertarians at Cato are doing some of the best studies these days. Okay, so we might talk about this as well, which is President Trump's pardons, an embarrassment of riches. Just yet another feature of this administration and regime that is trying to fucking fuck with us constantly. So that is what we're gonna do today. Yeah. Hi, Kathy Gross Plans. How are you, darling? Gal, I have a very good Peter Thiel, but you're pretty stacked. No. Send it, please. Send it, because this is just, I usually come up with like this many things for the morning, but I like to switch gears when we have good stuff, gal. So you're absolutely someone I want to, you got to look at Marie Farmer Peace selfies. What is that? Setiles? What's setiles? Maybe I can make it around with Jane Gang. Hopefully the Devo version. Oh, that's a good mashup. Tell oomph. Oh, yes. Awesome. Thank you. Setiles. Oh, okay. Yes. Okay. Oh, I think I know. Is that the way to say it? I think I know what you're talking about. Oh, here we go. This is a good one. I don't know what was going on in this hearing, but let's see. How long is this one? Let's see. Da 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 da. I kind of want to read this. This is really good. Because let me just say this. Let me actually just talk to you guys for a second, okay? Because there's a lot in my head, and it's not very well organized. But I want to talk about the Epstein stuff for a minute, because I was, again, watching PBD this morning, and I watched it yesterday, and Alex Jones was on yesterday. Oh, wonderful. So Alex Jones was on yesterday, and today they were just debriefing, Pam Bondi's performance in the Judiciary Committee. And it is really clear to me there is a concerted effort in many different ways. Yeah, I know. Meowing, I have that. I definitely have that on our list. Thank you for that heads up. I saw that too, and I'm like, oh yeah, we're gonna listen to Crispy Gnome about elections. Crispy's talking about erection integrity. You know we're gonna be there. Anyway, so this whole Epstein thing is becoming a few different key messages, all right, coming out of the right. And I'm starting to pick up on them, so I just want to put them out there. This is more for my brain than it is for yours. You probably already know all this or you've internalized it. I internalize things a lot slower. So what I'm seeing are a couple of different themes. Number one, that the women who are now coming forward were at first victims, but then became complicit as they recruited more girls for Epstein. So now those women are being painted because of the Dershowitz negotiated Palm Beach case, where Jeffrey Epstein was charged with 2 counts of procuring a minor for prostitution. Okay, I don't know how those two things actually work together, but okay, whatever. So the whole prostitution thing, which was started by Alan Dershowitz, okay, is now the theme to discredit this entire case. So that's one key theme, is that the women are whores, the women are prostitutes, the women are the ones who traffic the girls, the women, all right? So that's one attack on the Epstein. Number 2, and you've all heard it, is the nobody did anything about it before now, okay? Merrick Garland, Eric Holder, all that kind of stuff. Great. Let's call them in front of Congress. Okay? No problem. Let's call them in front of Congress, because you're right. The timing lines up. So they should answer some questions. And what Merrick Garland and Eric Holder went on record in an article in 2025, I think, they went on record saying that they had not known about the Epstein files. That's what was in a fucking, I shit you not, it was in a fucking article I read. Let me see. I'm going to pull it up because I don't want to. Here we go. It's from Seattle News, actually. I'll tell you right now. Okay, Garland and Holder claim no knowledge of Epstein files, but subpoenas withdrawn. Okay. Oh, man, stop it. Okay. Just quickly, former attorneys general. Oh, my fucking God, I hate Google. Former attorneys general Merrick Garland and Eric Holder will no longer appear before the House Oversight Committee regarding the Jeffrey Epstein investigation after writing letters stating they have no knowledge of the files. This was October 2nd, 2025. KOMO. It's not a fucking hack page. It's a fucking, it's a news stage. It's a local news station, okay? Holder and Garland were subpoenaed in August by Chairman James Comer alongside former President Bill Clinton and Secretary of State Hillary for depositions. Attorney General Holder served as Attorney General from February 2009 to April 2015. Holder's lawyers wrote in a letter to Comer and reviewed by the Washington Examiner. As you know, the national notoriety of the Epstein-Maxwell cases largely arose well after that period. I don't really remember. The committee also withdrew subpoenas for Attorneys General Jeff Sessions and Alberto Gonzalez last month. A subpoena for former FBI Director Robert Mueller was withdrawn due to his declining health from Parkinson's. Former Attorney General Bill Barr was the first to appear for a closed-door deposition for the House Oversight Committee. Barr was President Donald Dump's Attorney General and a prominent figure when Epstein died by suicide while awaiting federal charges. At the time, Barr said he was appalled and angry at the failure of the prison system to secure Epstein. Let me assure you that this case will continue against anyone who was complicit with Epstein. Yeah. Just kidding. Any co-conspirator should not rest easy. The victims deserve justice, and they will get it, Barr said during a national policing conference in New Orleans in 2019, which shows you how hollow words are. Alex Acosta, the former U.S. attorney who negotiated the so-called sweetheart deal. Oh, it was a sweetheart deal. with a disgraced financier over 15 years ago, testified on Friday. Behind closed doors, though. Comer said in a statement following the deposition that Acosta provided the committee with useful information. Acosta cooperated with our questions today and provided information that will help advance our investigation into the federal government's handling of the Epstein and Maxwell cases. Okay, but the federal government's handling of it, but not the actual cases? All right. The deal ended a federal investigation into Epstein's sex trafficking activities, an agreement Acosta has repeatedly defended, including after Epstein's arrest in 2019. In Comer's statement, he added that Acosta told lawmakers he never met Epstein, I didn't know them, or Ghislaine Maxwell, nor ever saw Dump's name on any document related to Epstein. Acosta told lawmakers he never met Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell, nor ever saw Trump's name on any document related to Epstein. Oh my gosh, I think that's a lie. I think that's a big fucking lie. Former FBI Director James Comey is set to testify on October 7th. And now we know, fast forward, we're awaiting the Clinton testimony, etc., which I don't know. I don't know if the testimony from him is going to be helpful. I would really like Dershowitz. Oh, I need to show you this too. I'm sorry. I hate Piers Morgan. You know how I hate Piers Morgan. Please don't come for me, but I watched this yesterday. I watched the whole thing, which is amazing to me because what's going on here? I watched the whole thing yesterday with Piers Morgan. I never watch Piers Morgan. Are you kidding me? I never watch Piers Morgan. Where is it? Piers Morgan. Oh man. Where's this fucking okay, wait. Dershowitz. Show me the fucking bitch poopy faces. Poopy faces. Do 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 do. Okay. Piers. Are you like what's his name and you delete all your shit? No. Okay. Okay, hold on. I can't show this whole thing because he'll fucking strike me like the bitch that I am. Wait, I want to watch the rest of the Piers interview. I know. Hold on. God, I wish I could get to hold on. Hold on. Okay, I'm just going to play some minutes of this. Hold on. We're going to just hold on the other hearing. And I want you to hear some of this because I hate Alan Dershowitz. Alan Dershowitz is a rapist. I'm about confident. And so anyway. Oh, bye, love. Oh, have a good day. You look so cute. You're so cute. Bobo says goodbye, everybody. She's off to work. Off to work she goes. Okay, so unfortunately, I'm gonna play this for you. I apologize.
Back in the 90s, when 3 Mossad agents were...
Oh, I should probably preface this by saying this is the Piers Morgan show with Alan Dipshitwitz is what I call him, and Bassem Youssef, who is an Egyptian comedian. I have not heard of him before, but I am now a fan unless he's super problematic, which I guess on Piers Morgan can be super problematic. So you can't just assume everybody's oh yeah, awesome.
Caught in Cyprus,
anyway.
And Cyprus thought they were working for Turkey. In fact, they weren't, and I helped to get them out. I have a very good relationship with the current head of the Mossad, the former head of the Mossad. Obviously, I've asked them that question, and there's no evidence at all.
Alan, I would say this. Alan, I would say this to you. If I was to ask you about all the despicable crimes that Epstein was committing, right, you would say, because I think you've said it publicly, you didn't know about any of that, right? So, could it be that Jeffrey Epstein just had a completely different life that he just did not tell you about, and that included despicable human sex trafficking, and it may also have included being a spy. I mean, clearly, if he wasn't telling you about all the sex trafficking, which was a huge amount of his life, then why is it surprising if he kept the rest of it from you?
Well, it's very surprising because telling me about his sex life didn't help him. Telling me that he worked for the Mossad would have given him a get out of jail free card. Remember, Jeffrey Epstein hated me before he died. He wrote all kinds of letters to Woody Allen as to what a terrible lawyer I was. He wouldn't pay me my fee. He fired me because he thought I had gotten him a terrible deal, that famous sweetheart deal. He ended up 18 months in prison. He was outraged. He didn't want to spend a minute in prison. I could have gotten him no jail time. If he had told me he worked for the Mossad, for the CIA, he was an intelligence source, it would have been a slam dunk for me to go to whoever I had to go to, even up to the President of the United States. And I would have gotten him a deal with no time at all.
Don't worry.
Epstein was a selfish SOB. He would do anything to avoid prison time. Why wouldn't he have told me that he worked for the Mossad if he worked for the Mossad? So, yeah, of course he's not going to tell me when I knew him as an academic acquaintance, he's not going to tell me he's having sex with young children. He hid that from everybody. He did have a separate life, a completely separate life. But once I was his lawyer, it was in his interest to tell me things that would benefit him. And I can't imagine anything benefiting him more than having worked for an intelligence agency, but I pressed him.
I mean, some people might be.
He didn't,
I'll come to Bassem in a moment, but some people will be listening to this going, hang on a second, you mean if he'd said he was working with the Mossad or CIA, then he would get off being a paedophile? In other words, you can commit crimes of paedophilia
he wasn't accused of being
children, and you would simply not go to prison for it.
That's right. Let's be clear. He was charged with 2 counts. One, a 17-year and 10-month-old woman who he paid for prostitution. The other, a woman in her 20s who was a prostitute who he paid. Those were the only 2 things he pleaded guilty to. The only 2 things he's...
That was what Alan Dershowitz negotiated for him. I read the charging documents last night. I read the IG report on Alex Acosta last night. I read the report about the behavior of Alex Acosta as U.S. attorney. So that was the deal. That was the deal that was negotiated by Alan Dershowitz on behalf of Jeffrey Epstein, down from dozens of girls who had claimed sexual abuse, which you're about to find out.
Ever been convicted. He was never convicted of pedophilia. He was never convicted of trafficking. None of that. He may have done all of those things, but when I was representing him, all he was being charged with was these 2 counts of paying prostitutes, one who was 17 years old and 10 months. I could have gotten him no jail time for that if he had been a member of the Mossad. Any good lawyer could have parlayed his membership and his contribution to intelligence into a deal. Or, for example, if he had anything on Donald Trump or anything on Bill Clinton, of course any prosecutor would exchange this nobody, who nobody had ever heard of at the time, getting free from prison for, my God, the president, former president, future president. No, the best evidence is that he never, ever tried to tell me anything that would help him, that would support any of these theories about Clinton or Trump or the Mossad. So I am completely confident that he was not an intelligence asset. I wish, your previous guest is right. He would have been a perfect intelligence asset if I were the head of the Mossad. I would say, oh my God, now that I know who he knew, Bill Gates, everybody, the Sultan of this, the Sultan of that, sure, we try to recruit him, but they didn't know that at the time because he didn't have many of those friends back in the 1980s and 1990s. Many of them became his friends, ironically, after he got out of prison.
Okay, Bassem Youssef, you've been waiting patiently. Welcome back to Uncensored. What is your response to Alan Dershowitz?
Well, I think that what Mr. Alan Dershowitz just said is the best recruitment video for Mossad. Basically, they're telling people, if you're Mossad, you can get away with anything. The same thing that will happen with Tom Alexandrovich, the cybersecurity guy from Netanyahu's government who was arrested in Nevada for trying to lure a minor in an FBI stint operation, and he got off the hook. He traveled. He didn't even have to attend his trial. He did Zoom from Israel. And like Ori Solomon, just a couple of days ago, there was a biolab in Nevada that nobody is actually talking about. Actually, as a matter of fact, the mainstream media, they reported it but they never mentioned his nationality as an Israeli who was running a biolab in Nevada that includes deadly viruses. If that was a Muslim, it would be like all over the news. So basically, Mr. Dershowitz is telling us, if you're Mossad, you have like an out of jail card. And you know what? Maybe he's right.
Or a CIA, or a CIA agent. That's true.
Mr. Allen, Mr. Dershowitz, I did not interrupt you a single second when you talked. So
like
after you're done with the gaslighting, please let me finish. First of all, I think like I'm now kind of leaning towards believing mainstream media, especially CBS and CNN under Barry Weiss and Larry Ellison. I mean, the evidence is there that he is actually a Russian asset. His girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell, was the daughter of a Mossad super spy. He was represented by you, Mr. Dershowitz, Israel's favorite lawyer, who you're also a lawyer to the Mossad, which, of course, everything you tell us will be true. Ehud Barak was his place the whole time. He fled to Israel when he was charged with sex crimes, and he was pictured wearing an IDF shirt. He was funded by pro-Israel fanatics. He worked for the Rothschild. He donated to pro-Israel student groups. He was responsible for the Wagner's group's pro-Israel philanthropy. He supported Israel settlement projects. His friends were all Zionists. He referred to us as Goyim. He was involved in Israel diplomacy effort. He brokered security deals with Israel. And even a former Israeli intelligence officer, you know, Ari Ben Menashe, like Mr. Ryan Grimm said, he said he ran a honeypot for Israel. So yes, of course, he was definitely a Russian spy. Makes sense. You know what? I'm by the way, Mr. Allen,
you're a good comedian. You're a good comedian. This is very funny.
But I'm actually a huge fan of yours because I have known you since the 2000s. I mean, actually, you're one of the very few lawyers who are actually known in the Middle East. It's like watching a real-life courtroom drama lawyer. There's even T-shirts with your face in it in Egypt. And I've followed you for a while. And that's why I'm here today. When they told me Mr. Dershowitz is here, it's like, I have to be here just for the gaslighting, because the level of gaslighting isn't new. For more than 2.5 years, Mr. Dershowitz and his client, Israel, have gaslighted us in front of our eyes for 2.5 years with all of the destructions and the killing that we've seen in Gaza. But they, according to them, it's not a genocide, it's self-defense. He told us that every dead child is
not a genocide.
That the
it's
International
a blood libel to call it a genocide.
Interrupt you, sir. That the International Court of Justice is a fake
you
court,
can't
and
lie
Israel
and
predicts
just
an anti-Semitic.
Expect
now,
silence.
Mr. Dershowitz, please, I did not interrupt you. Don't interrupt me. I know that you're a lawyer and you do that. Objection,
I'm
Your
going to
Honor.
interrupt
Don't
you
interrupt
if you
me.
use the word
now,
genocide.
The Epstein files are public. People can read them. People can see the horrible stuff that you, again, are gaslighting us. In your own word, you said that he's not a pedophile because he liked 15 and 16 years old, but not 11 and 12 years old.
No, I said 17 and 10 months.
People can
17
read,
and 10
you
months.
can read the ages of the kids in the emails. They can read about the pizza, the ice cream, the beef jerky.
Convicted.
And you can see the connection with Israel. And yet, here you are again, gaslighting us. This is your playbook, attacking the victims.
It's called
the Palestinians, Hamas,
it's
terrorists,
called truth.
EPSTEIN victims, liars, prostitutes, drama students, and of course,
you say Hamas are not terrorists?
You have a history
you say Hamas
of hiring
are not
investigators to dig through teenage girls at MySpace pages looking for marijuana
That's
photos.
What lawyers
you
do.
Called a 16-year-old girl a thief in the Daily Mail. You got Epstein 13 months in county jail with work release for abusing 34 victims where he should have got life in prison. That's not a plea bargain. That's a spa package.
And
every single time,
your
lying. Defense is
I
the same.
challenge
She's
you
lying.
to defend.
She wants money.
I challenge you to defend your statement that he got 18 months. Stop
interrupting me, Mr. Dershowitz.
You're just lying.
A Syrian child predator and got him the deal of the century. 2 women accused you under oath. You settled for nearly $1 million. Innocent men don't pay. They go to trial.
That's another lie. Not a penny.
Guilty
men. You're lying. You're defaming me. You are now going. You are now going to be sued. You are now going to be sued for saying I paid $1 million. You're going to be sued. And I would. Pierce, I would recommend you cutting him off when he says that I paid $1 million. I didn't pay one penny. That's a lie.
And trust you instead.
Bassem, you've spoken for a long time.
Like Pierce,
okay, Bassem, you've made it.
Mr. Allen
Bassem, you've spoken for a long time. Bassem, you've spoken for a long time. You've made a number of allegations.
There is going to be, I can tell you right now, I am going to...
I want Alan Dershowitz to
keeps
respond.
interrupting me, Piers. I didn't interrupt him.
Okay, I am going to...
Let him
I'm
respond
going
to
to
you.
make it very clear.
But he shouldn't be interrupting
I'm going to make it very clear. I'm going to make it very clear. I'm filing a lawsuit immediately. I'm instructing my lawyers to file a lawsuit against him for saying I paid $1 million. What happened is a woman falsely accused me. She admitted she may have mistaken me and confused me for somebody else. She dropped all of her charges. Not a single penny was paid, nothing. And it's all in the agreement, all a matter of court record. You saying that I paid $1 million is going to result in you having to pay me many millions of dollars. What'd you say?
This is from the New Yorker.
The New Yorker never said anything like that.
So what Bassem is talking about is there is a New Yorker article about the settlement between Giuffre, I think, and Dershowitz. And what I believe Bassem is going to read from the New Yorker, I'll pull the New Yorker article because and tag it in here, because I believe that what Bassem is saying is that at the end of the deal, $1 million or a certain sum said by the New Yorker to be $1 million was exchanged between lawyers. Dersh is going to claim that that is just a lawsuit between lawyers and that the settlement was not related to the sex crime. So Dershowitz is just like, he's lawyering to the best of his lawyering ability. Like, he's just taking the face value of certain words and using that in his own defense. This is like incredible. And we're going to stick with this because I just think this entire exchange, albeit somewhat painful to watch sometimes, is really good. And Dershowitz needs to be saying and forced to say much more because he was complicit. And the fact that he negotiated that sweetheart deal needs to be talked about a lot more. The sweetheart deal is really something we need to discuss. And here's the thing. Again, the reason I think the Epstein stuff is so very important is that there are so many powerful people. Hi, Paulina, I love you. So good to see you. San Fran gal is Paulina, so everyone knows. The Epstein is so important because these men, for the most part, are still walking around with impunity. Leon Black, Paul Attia, Dershowitz, a lot of them, Les Wexner, still alive, still walking around, still enjoying the fruits of their torture, right? And that cannot stand. Like, in this world, that cannot stand. Because that just means they got away with it. And they will continue to do it. And yes, the connections to Mossad and to the KGB or to the Kremlin need to be investigated. Because if you wanted your worldwide cabal, here it is. And Alan Dershowitz is one of its lawyers. This should be a no-brainer. There should be people screaming for Alan Dershowitz to be, I don't know what. We just really need to know who took over, Carrie. Yeah, we do. I'm sorry. This isn't going away. And you can't defame the victims. You can try and do all that shit. But I'm telling you, this is what I was warning us about this morning. What I'm hearing on the right is a lot. Sure. What I'm hearing on the right is a lot of obfuscation and no big dealingness, and those women are whores, and this is that, and that, you know what I mean? This is all I'm hearing because they know they have to do it. Because if the truth comes out, people like Alan Dershowitz are going to be strung up. He should rot in jail. Yeah, he should. He should be rotting in jail forever. Until he dies, hopefully painfully. I'm sorry. You reap what you sow. That's in the motherfucking Bible, bitches. Okay, I didn't make that up. That's in the fucking Bible.
You know, you're such a liar. You know, I thought you were a comedian. I thought at least you'd be funny. You're just a liar. You're just somebody who is prepared to make any kind of anti-Semitic, anti-Israel statement.
Oh, anti-Semitic,
and you're willing
please
to
stop
lie
with that,
about
Mr.
it. Now, I want you to justify the million.
Please,
I want you to justify that I paid $1 million. I want you to justify that.
Sir.
Will you justify it? Will you justify that I paid $1 million? Where did you get that piece of nonsense? Where did you make
the New
that
Yorker,
up?
Sir.
You said Hamas is not a to the people. Show him what you say the New Yorker said.
I'm just
I'm waiting. I'm waiting. Look it up.
Forth.
Yeah, I'm looking at right now. It is called for people to search it.
Let's see it. Let's see it. Everybody. Yeah. I paid $1 million to the. Quote that from the New Yorker.
This is just them back and forth while Boston finds the article. So hold on. I'm getting there.
Silence.
Company had paid Jeffrey's lawyer. Dude, it is a guys. Yes, here it is. Oh,
no, it isn't. No, it isn't. You're lying. Silence.
Oh, here it is. In April 2016, the case settled. There was no such settled. With the press reported that the agreement.
What case?
Wait. The press reported that the agreement included a financial arrangement implying that Jeffrey's team had paid it. In fact, Dershowitz's insurance company had paid Jeffrey's lawyers in negotiation. The parties has discussed a figure of nearly $1 million, with $50,000 going to Dershowitz, which would allow him to claim a payment. The final amount has not been disclosed.
But you know it. A, you know it. Number B,
dude, this
had nothing to do with Virginia.
You want to go and
this had nothing to do with the woman who accused me. This was a lawsuit between lawyers, and it had nothing to do with this accusation. Zero. You made up the whole story. The New Yorker never reported it.
Pay the lawyers.
They also paid me. There was a mutual settlement where both sides paid sums to each other.
And they got like
each of us received payments covering our legal fees, and this was about lawyers. This was not about any accusation
you know what, guys?
against me.
I invite everybody to go to read the New Yorker article and see the pattern of lying that Mr. Dershowitz has done over the years.
So, all right, let me get involved now. Let me say something now.
Let's get back.
You can read the article. I just linked it. It's a 2019 New Yorker. It's not paywalled. So you can take a look at the article for yourself and decide what you think Alan did or didn't do, or, blah, blah, blah. Whether or not he doth protest too much or not. No more Martha's Vineyard for you.
Alan, we know he's a liar. We know he's not a funny comedian.
Come on, liar, anti-Semitic. It's the same thing.
All right, let me pull it back to the bigger picture.
Why would I believe you if you have lied many times?
Let me pull it back. Alan, I wanted to just talk to you about something you said earlier, because there's been a bit of confusion about this, I think, in the public domain. You said in the end that the settlement that Epstein made pertained to a 21-year-old and a 17-year-old. But many of the contemporaneous reports about this settlement refer to a 14-year-old girl who Epstein had paid for a massage.
That was not part of the case.
So can you explain?
That was not part of the case. The indictment.
But that precipitated the investigation, right?
Let me tell you what happened. A 14-year-old girl was heard over the phone talking to another friend about whether or not she could get a massage from an older man. That precipitated the investigation. But the investigation culminated not in any kind of an indictment regarding that 14-year-old. There was no evidence of it. And so in the end, the 14-year-old claim disappeared. The only evidence that they were able to prove to get a grand jury indictment was a 17-year-old and 10-month person and a woman in her 20s, an adult who has agency. Both of them in the indictment were called prostitutes. And he was indicted for paying money to soliciting two prostitutes, one of whom was 17 years old and 10 months. The 14-year-old was never part of the indictment in the case.
Clear, legally, okay, but Alan, to be clear, the 17-year-old was a legal minor.
Of course, and that's why he pleaded guilty to it and went to jail for it. He deserved to go to jail.
And do you
for a
believe?
17 and 10
Do you
month old.
believe?
Yeah.
So I interviewed one of the legal team on behalf of some of these girls involved in that case, who said that he was offended about the characterization of any minor as a prostitute.
Well, then he should complain to the prosecution. It's what the prosecution put in the indictment. We didn't write the indictment. The prosecution put it in the indictment. They did an investigation. They found out that these were young women who were coming for pay, were being paid money to give massages. They defined that as prostitution. It wasn't us who did that. That was the prosecutors who did that. So that's all.
But when you say he wasn't convicted, okay. But when you say he wasn't convicted as a paedophile, he was though. If you do a deal that involves a minor,
look, you can quibble over words, but medical definition of pedophile.
Well, no, it's a legal definition, isn't it?
He pleaded. No, that's not the legal definition. The legal definition is underage. The word pedophile is never used legally for anybody who's 17 and 10 months. But we're quibbling. He pleaded guilty to 17 and 10 months. He was guilty of that. It's a despicable, terrible thing. He may have had sex with even younger people, but he was never convicted of that. He was never charged with that. He probably would have been charged with it had he stayed alive, but he wasn't. But let's stick to the facts. He pleaded guilty only to 2 charges of soliciting a 17, 10-month-old and a above age person for prostitution. That's what the state charged him with. That's what he pleaded guilty to. That's what the federal government agreed would be the deal that would terminate the federal prosecution. That's what happened. He hated me for that.
If you have any sexual relations with a minor, but Alan, if you, you talk about quibbling, but if you have sexual relations with a minor, you're a pedophile.
No, I don't want to fight with that because you can call him whatever you want. That's fine. You call him a pedophile, but no medical doctor, no psychologist will tell you that a 17-year-old, 10-month woman who's taking money to give massages is subject to the other person being called a pedophile. But let's not get into that. Call him a pedophile. That's fine. He pleaded guilty to charges of having sex for money with a minor. Yes, he did that. And he did much worse than that. And he was a despicable human being who deserves no pity whatsoever. But that doesn't give anybody license to simply lie about what happened. For example, one of the papers in Israel, when talking about Ehud Barak, said he was convicted of having sex with a 14-year-old. No, he wasn't. He was investigated for that, and the investigation terminated with no prosecution for a 14-year-old. Did he have sex with a 14-year-old? I have no idea. Maybe the prosecution has an idea. Maybe it's true. Maybe it's not. But it's not true that he was convicted of that. Never.
So what is your assessment, Alan Dershowitz, now of what Jeffrey Epstein did? And why is it that no really high-profile American men in particular have been brought to account for what was going on?
Well, one name has been. One of the names that was recently disclosed by Congress people yesterday was Leslie Wexner. And I think it's very appropriate to investigate Leslie Wexner. He went back to Jeffrey Epstein many years. Let me give you my assessment of what happened. Look, there were real victims, horrible victims, people who should never have been put through this, people who are underage. And I have tremendous compassion for these victims. But then there's another category of people, women who are 25, who came back over and over again and received $150, $200. Then they went and they recruited 14 and 15-year-olds for Epstein, and they were paid to recruit for Epstein. These people should also be investigated. They may have been victims, but they were also perpetrators. It's a lot grayer than the black and white of victimization and survivalization and all of that. It's much more complex than that. But there's no justifying what Epstein did.
What those women may or may not have done when they were under the control of Jeffrey Epstein and his minions is not grooming, isn't prostitution, isn't recruiting. They are victims. Because when you are in an abusive relationship and you are a child, You do things in order to keep yourself safe. So fuck you all day long. Burn in hell if you think for 1 minute that those women, each and every one of them, were not victims, even as they recruited other girls. Then you don't understand how the world works. Period. Hi, Griffey. I'm telling you, eat the rich and then throw them up.
It was terrible. It was awful. I wish I had never laid eyes on that SOB. He's an awful, awful human being. That's the job of a criminal defense lawyer, to defend and get the best deal. I thought I got the best deal. He thought I got a terrible deal.
Bassem Youssef, what is your wider view about the Epstein scandal and the, so far, very limited accountability for other people involved?
Well, you see, I'm actually like, the FBI just dumped millions of unredacted or redacted Epstein files on the public and said, you know what, here you go.
This part is very important. What Bassem is about to talk about is very, very, very important. Very important.
Have fun. It's like a scavenger hunt. Like you expect, like it's kind of like a TikTok challenge. Can you find a pedophile? You have the FBI, you have the DOJ, you have unlimited resources, unlimited power, unlimited budgets. This is the biggest sex trafficking scandal in modern history. Billionaires, politicians, royalty, and all hanging out on Pedophile Island. And the US government response is like, hey guys, let the internet figure it out. What is this? A group project? Are you serious? You want me to do your job? You want some guy on Reddit cross-referencing flight logs at 2 a.m. while he's eating Cheetos? Like, you want TikTokers playing a game of Clue. Hey, it was Prince Andrew in having a massage with the undergirl. What is this? It is not the job of private citizens to figure out clues. I don't understand. Is the FBI too busy to do their job? Here's what should have happened. They should have released the name. They should have arrested predators. They should have held the trials, like a functioning justice system. Right. But instead you give us 4 million trillion documents with no index, no categorization, redactions everywhere. Then say, hey, good luck with that, guys. Like, let us know if you find anything. Wallahi azim, not even a third world country dictatorship would do that to us. In third world countries, they would release nothing. Keep us in the...
Let me just address this. I think Max is only bringing up the technical issues of a 16-year-old being, So, I mean, I don't know, Max. I think you would, I find it hard to believe that you wouldn't agree that the sex issue is a different one than, children versus adult versus whatever. So I don't want us to get too hung up on that in terms of a fight in the chat, frankly. No, at JFK, that's not right. No, I'm not doing this. Don't do this. Don't do this to my chat. Okay? Don't. Take it back. JFK, don't make me repeat it. Don't make me remove it. Just take it off. Take it off, please. I appreciate it if you would do that. I know 16 is a child. I don't think Max is saying that people should have sex with 16-year-olds. Oh, God, I need us to focus. I need us to focus on things, please. Thank you. I really just want you to just let's take a breath, okay? Let's take a breath. Max, I don't know if I would say something like that in relation to this. It doesn't, of course she isn't. But that comment is problematic. Like, I don't agree with you. I think a 16-year-old is a child. It has nothing to do with a driver's license. And that's it. I mean, having sex is not, I'm not excusing it. I want words to have, well, okay. All right. Well, then, you know what? Crack on, everybody.
Like a self-respected dictatorship. But this choose your own adventure bullshit, this like figure it out on your own. What kind of service is this? Like, I mean, the government takes half of my money so I can do its job, and then sends the other half to Israel. I mean, this is just like dysfunctional, you know. And I'm just like, you know, and my wider view of this, you know, my first time I appeared with you, Piers, I talked about like how Israel is like a narcissistic psychopath, and it went viral because people felt it. Because you see, narcissists don't just lie to you. They create an entire alternate reality and pull you into it. That's why it's called the narcissist shared reality. The narcissist builds an alternate, highly controlled reality and pulls other people into it. And in that false reality, the narcissists are always, you know, they're special, they're misunderstood, they are victimized. Yeah? And Israel does this on a national level for decades, right? They have told us we're the victim, we have no choice, it's self-defense, you know? And in the same thing now with Epstein. It's a shared reality. Oh, maybe he's a Russian spy. Maybe he is. It's like, it's right in front of our eyes. And we have to go through these like mental gymnastics and figure it out. It's right there. Nothing is gray, Mr. Dershowitz. Nothing is gray. Genocide is not gray. Sex trafficking is not gray.
I agree with you. I agree with you. And it wasn't committed. Genocide is what was committed.
I understand that you are a lawyer.
I'm going to go ahead and move away from this. Let's see. Should I read the Peter Thiel, please? Yeah, I'll probably do this. Let me read the Peter Thiel piece. Yeah, I'm sorry you guys are arguing, but I don't think, I mean, I feel like I know all of you that are arguing with each other, and I know that none of you think that children should be victimized in any way. And Max, I know you're being specific about the fact that 2 16-year-olds are able to engage in sexual activity, and that's true. That's true. It doesn't mean it's a matter of control. I mean, child rape is not a sexual act. It's an act of power and control. So I have 2 teens living at home in 2026. Neither of them would consent to sex with a 50-year-old. Yeah, ever. Yeah, exactly. It's a very different, there's a lot of nuance in that. But yeah, 16-year-olds are able to make a decision to have sex with each other sometimes, and sometimes they're coerced. Okay, so coercion happens even between 16-year-olds, we'll say. And coercion and sexual control is about power. It's not about sexual gratification or anything in that way. So that's I just want us to be gracious a little bit with each other, and I know some people are going to use words sometimes in different ways or say things, but I do believe I know a little bit about the people in the chat, and that you all are you have the right. I just know your hearts a little bit in terms of knowing that you really are standing with victims on this. So this just makes me sad to see people fight when I know that they basically agree, but that there's some semantic difference between them. I don't want to see that, right? I don't want to see that. But I also am not trying to tell you what to do because I'm not your mommy. I'm not your mommy. I don't even remember being 16. How about that? Okay, I don't even remember being 16 years old. Hello? Be kind to language. No, I mean, just be gracious. I mean, I don't know. You know what I did? I hate to see people fight. I came from a big family. I was the last kid in 6, and they always fought, and it really kind of triggered me. So that's all. Is that I don't want to see good people who I know feel similarly about this issue argue necessarily, or feel that they are trying to, yeah. Anyway, hi, Esmeralda. How are you? Yeah, Lisa, I love cheesecake. Can we agree that cheesecake is wonderful? No, but I appreciate the conversation too. But I don't want things to get missed, because in text it's really hard to communicate, and it's not easy to resolve issues in a chat, right? Like that's not really a good place to try and do that. But let's read about Peter Thiel. Speaking of not nice things, let's read about Peter fucking Thiel. And Peter Thiel, what Peter Thiel saw in Jeffrey Epstein. Thank you, Gal, for this archived version of the Nation article from, well, there he is. Look at that. Here's my money. $100 bills. Oh, Bitcoin. Oh, whatever. What the fuck? I don't even know what date this was. Oh, February 11th. Oh, okay. Thank you. This is new. New. I don't like cherries on my cheesecake, okay? I'm serious. I don't like cherry. I like plain old cheesecake. What, so that means there's more for us. I know. I'm sorry. I don't like those cherries. I don't like them. I don't know why. Okay, in the extensive correspondence between Silicon Valley venture capitalist and the late pedophile, both men expressed a deep aversion to democracy. What? What? Democracy? I actually sought out the author and complimented him on this one. Very well written and snappy. I loved it. Yay! Fresh cherries would be good, yeah. I don't know, I just don't like that syrup. What's that little syrup stuff they put in them? The gelatin kind of. I don't dig that consistency. Maybe that's it. Same with fruit tarts. Anyway, okay. Where do you come down on the fruit tart question? That's what I want to know. We're going to root out. We're going to separate the wheat from the chaff when it comes to the. when it comes to our fruit treatment. Okay, here we go. It's easy enough to understand the appeal of Jeffrey Epstein to some in the late pedophile's vast circle of friends and quasi-friends. The scientists whom Epstein collected like so many beanie babies were charmed less by his supposedly witty repartee than by his money. Some, no doubt, were also more titillated than horrified by the stories of his private life. Others in his circle, like Donald Trump and Woody Allen, shared his appreciation for women and not yet women on the younger side, quote unquote, as Trump put it in a now infamous New York Magazine profile of his skeevy partying buddy. But at first glance, it seems harder to explain the 5-year friendship of Epstein and tech investor extraordinaire Peter Thiel, which began in 2014, long after Epstein's pedophile tendencies were widely known. Still, Thiel is all over the Epstein files. The two exchanged more than 2,000 messages over the years and met on multiple occasions. Epstein would ultimately invest some $40 million in venture capital funds managed by Valor Ventures, a firm co-founded by Thiel. And actually, I found Palantir documents inside the Epstein files. Just saying. Raisins? Oh my God. Leave my chat. Raisins, Dean. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm not a raisin fan either. Oh my God, I'm really I'm batting 1,000 here, aren't I? Butter tarts, raisins or not, Canadians only can reply. Jay Rance, I need you to say hi to me 6 times in a stream. Oh my God, y'all. Okay, still, Thiel is all over the Epstein files, blah, blah, blah. Oh yeah. You might think that Thiel, who fancies himself a sort of philosopher king of the tech set, would find himself irritated by Epstein's intellectual play acting. Epstein surrounded himself with academics in hopes that some of their intellectual glamour would stick to him. But what really interested him wasn't ideas, it was sex. And he was known to regularly interrupt the conversations of his pet scientists with the query, "What does that got to do with pussy?" Needless to say, this is not a question Thiel, the first uncloseted gay speaker at a Republican National Convention, spends much time pondering. Maybe. Thiel, whatever his deficiencies as a thinker, at least does the reading. He regularly pauses his ongoing pursuit of money to issue long and earnest disquisitions on the state of the world, filled with learned references to dark philosophers like Leo Strauss and Carl Schmitt, the infamous Nazi apologist who's undergoing a troubling revival on the Groyper-infested MAGA right. As their email exchanges make plain, Epstein and Thiel shared many of the same obsessions. Both had a certain disdain for the quotidian responsibilities that come with living in a society, like paying taxes. Epstein offered his clients advice on tax avoidance and moved his operations to the Virgin Islands in part to escape the IRS. Thiel is currently helping to bankroll a campaign against a proposed wealth tax in California and talking about leaving the state in anticipation of steeper tax bills. Both were into life extension and cryogenics. Epstein allegedly, Thiel for sure. Though Epstein, hanging in his cell for a reported 2 hours after his death, clearly missed the window of opportunity to have his head and penis frozen, as he evidently desired. And both men shared a penchant for showing off human capital their money could buy. Epstein, who seemingly made not the slightest attempt to hide his sexual proclivities from the world, was known to arrive at important academic meetings with a pair of assistants in his wake. young Eastern European women with model-level looks who seemed so out of place that female staffers at MIT worried, not unreasonably as it turned out, that they were being trafficked. Thiel is also known for traveling with an entourage of what biographer Max Chafkin calls disconcertingly attractive young men, at one point surprising Steve Bannon when he and his entourage showed up at a Trump Tower in late 2016 to work with the incoming president's transition team. Apart from these affinities of temperament, what really united this odd couple was a common political and ideological project. Both believed that civilization was collapsing and that democratic norms were failing, and both did their part to help bring about these apocalyptic fantasies. In 2016, just after a majority of Britons voted to leave the European Union, a seemingly exuberant Epstein emailed Thiel to announce that Brexit was, quote, just the beginning, hailing the breakup of the UK and continental Europe as a welcome, quote, return to tribalism and a counter to globalization. It's not hard to imagine that Thiel, who believes that international organizations are quite literally tools of the Antichrist, might have felt he found a soulmate at last. The same ideological alignment seems to inform their shared enthusiasm for cryptocurrency, which was about far more than making money, though Thiel's Founders Fund did turn a $20 million Bitcoin investment into a $1.8 billion profit and managed to sell before one of the digital currency's many meltdowns. It was about building financial infrastructure outside state control. In 2015, when the Bitcoin Foundation collapsed, a quick infusion of Epstein bucks brought the key developers and control of the currency to MIT's Media Lab, which he partially funded. He met personally with the developers to discuss Bitcoin's future. Thiel was even more explicit about crypto's political purpose. At a 2022 Bitcoin conference, he touted Bitcoin as a shot across the bow of finance gerontocracy that runs the country, declaring that it would never be controlled by the government and throwing $100 bills at the crowd to mock fiat currency. Over the next few years, he also threw money at a number of crypto startups, including Bullish and Bitmine Immersion Technologies. Both men saw crypto as a weapon. For both men, these end-time and anti-government obsessions were rooted in a shared belief that democracy had failed and needed to be replaced by the rule of the capable few. This is where Epstein saw the Brexit revolution headed and the subsequent consolidation of maximum power around the nihilistic and bigoted tantrums of Donald Trump has drawn the world that much closer to the moment of reckoning he foretold in his note to Thiel. Epstein was remarkably frank about his Spenglerian outlook. In a 2019 interview with Steve Bannon, he disdained politicians as incapable nothings whose power depended on popularity rather than expertise. Quote, many of the world leaders become world leaders because they're popular. They don't understand money, he groused. They're not scientists, they're not intellectuals, they're not great thinkers, they're great politicians. In order to have true stability and consistency, we would need to put the world into the hands of businessmen. Thiel has been equally explicit. In a now infamous 2009 essay for the Cato Institute, he declared that, quote, I no longer believe that freedom and democracy are compatible. But he'd made the point in far greater detail in an earlier essay on Strauss, in which he argued that elites must use esoteric doublespeak to hide their true intentions from the masses who wouldn't and shouldn't understand the plans their natural-born leaders were making for them. This wasn't idle theorizing. Both men put substantial resources toward building post-democratic infrastructure. Thiel, through Palantir's surveillance systems and his advocacy of utopian exit strategies like seasteading, Epstein through funding scientists and cultivating government insiders, most notably former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak. Thiel genuinely believes that the world is entering end times, the literal battle between the Antichrist and what's called the catacon, the restraining force that holds back apocalypse. Drawing on Schmitt's concept of the political enemy, Thiel has identified various candidates for this cosmic villain. First, radical Islam after 9/11, then the Chinese Communist Party, and most recently, Luddite environmentalists like Greta Thunberg and anyone else who might put any sort of restraints on technological supremacy. As Paul Leslie notes in a perceptive essay in Salmagundi, the specific identity of the enemy seems to be less critical to Thiel's purpose than the fact that there is a target. In this framework, Epstein wasn't a liability. He was a fellow accelerationist with useful connections and zero moral restraint. Schmitt convinced himself, at least for a time, that Hitler, yes, that Hitler, was the good catacon holding off the communist Antichrist. So it's hardly surprising that a Schmittian like Thiel would be able to overlook Epstein's moral depravity and see him as an ally in the fight against the Antichrist. When those MIT staffers whispered about whether to intervene to help the Eastern European women Epstein brought to campus, they were witnessing something larger than one man's depravity. They were seeing the infrastructure of post-democratic power, a convicted predator bringing what appeared to be trafficked women to an elite institution, while that institution took his money to fund Bitcoin developers and AI research. For his part, Thiel didn't just tolerate Epstein despite his crimes. He recognized him as a fellow traveler, someone who understood that democracy was ending and that hierarchy needed to be restored, that the masses were incapable of understanding anything about the world they lived in, and that people like them should position themselves at the center of whatever came next. The difference between them wasn't moral, it was tactical. Epstein may have preferred to talk about pussy, while Thiel stayed up late pondering philosopher René Girard's concepts of mimetic desire. But both were asking the same question. How do we build a world where people like us have unlimited power and the rules don't apply? That's it, kids! Epstein couldn't find an answer and died a pariah in a prison cell. Thiel, meanwhile, is continuing to hoard resources and audition catacons for the final battle ahead. Oh, terrible. Terrible. You know that thing never started? Oh, wait, it did start. Oh, okay. Well, anyway. I'd rather read to you. All right, let me take a break and smoke some weed and talk to you. Raisin awareness. Oh, God, raisins. God, I don't understand why raisins exist. Can I tell you that? Why do raisins exist? I don't even know. Chocolate and cheesecake. What? Okay, let's see. Let me catch up with my beautiful friends here. Donald Dump is actually... Wait, Donald Dump is telling people he actually served in Vietnam, Jim? Turtle cheesecake. Oh, that kind of sounds good, actually. I like caramel. I'm not a big chocolate fan, but I really... Yeah, Jen, I'm with you. I'm a plain cheesecake girl. Let me see if I missed anything. Yeah, don't bring the beavers. Q, where in the doc files is the possession... Wait, where the doc in the files is in possession of Epstein or also FBI? Oh, well... These were from the FBI, I think, and the Southern District of New York. Is that what you're asking, Carrie? Or Esmeralda? Is that what you're asking, Esmeralda? Is it? I think these were all... I don't know. I don't know if it just came from one agency, because I think some of them came from, like, the FBI in New York or something like that. I could be wrong about that. I don't know. Just a reminder that Thiel's Mr. committed suicide a few years ago. Yeah, Thiel has a lot of suspicious things happen around him. We could have a whole show. So very Russian window cancer of him. Oh yeah, very, very. Oh, there you go. 18 U.S. Code, Section 2256. For purposes of this chapter, minor means anyone under the age of 18. There you go. There's a federal number. It's the elite sovereignty. It's don't touch us. Don't tase us, bro. Don't tax us, bro. Don't regulate us, bro. Which actually yesterday was a huge depressing moment in environmental history. Okay, bye. Sweet to a no-kill shelter a couple hours away. Oh, gal, be safe. Be safe, be safe. I know, the California raisins were cute. It didn't make them any good, okay? I can't stand them. I can't stand raisins. I don't care where they come from. So there. Down with raisins. We're anti-raisin in this show. Oh, Gal, you're so wonderful. Thank you for doing that. I love you, girl. I love you, girl. Girl, you know it's true. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I love you. Okay, I want to read you this story about billionaires who lobbied Trump to halt Canadian bridge praise the easy bribe. What is the easy bribe? Is it really called that? I don't know if this is a real story or not. Now I'm wondering if this is a real story. Billionaire Matthew Maroon, whose family recently lobbied the Dump administration to publicly threaten the Gordie Howe International Bridge, which competes with their interests, has praised the ease of use of President Trump's new Easy Bribe phone app. What the fuck is the Easy Bribe? What? Oh my God. What? Is that Jack Nicholson? Oh, this this is satire. I love this. Before I wanted to bribe a public official. It was a complicated matter of hiring lobbyists, backroom negotiations, and offering board seats to well-connected politicians. Explains Maroon, owner of Michigan's Ambassador Bridge, which will lose revenue once the better-designed Gordie Howe Bridge opens. Now, though, Maroon continues, with Mr. Dump's easy bribe system, I can send money directly through his family's cryptocurrency exchange in within minutes. I'm bringing international trade to a screeching halt solely to benefit my own short-term financial interests. Amazing! While the billionaire Maroon family has spent years and millions of dollars lobbying against the completion of the competing bridge in order to preserve their monopoly on Michigan's commercial truck toll revenue, Trump's Easy Bribe app reportedly simplified the process immeasurably. It even has an AI assistant feature that can identify other low-level Trump officials worth bribing to squash competition. And it's accurate most of the time. The Easy Bribe app, coded using ChatGPT by Baron Dump while clubbing with Andrew Tate, is available on the Apple App Store. It allows wealthy oligarchs to send funds directly to the Trump family pocket, converting instantly from rubles, reals, or conflict diamonds. SpaceX CEO Elon Musk reportedly used the Easy Bribe app to stock up on preemptive presidential pardons. It even sent me a tax-deductible receipt, noted Musk, before clarifying he hasn't paid any federal income tax in decades. I love this. At press time, White House aides have taken to writing various pay-for-play bribes directly into President Trump's left hand so he doesn't forget them. Oh my God, I love you guys. You Canadians, you're so funny. You Canadians are so funny. Raisins! No! No raisins ever. Don't do a raisin tower in my chat. These guys are way funnier than the Onion. I agree, Neil. That was funny. We're gonna check in with them again. That's pretty funny. Well, anyway, that's the Gordie Howe Bridge update for you. Oh my God. Okay, we wanted to circle back and check on the old Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. Thank God it's finally over. This was actually a while ago. This wasn't 6 hours ago. But I wanted to read this because we spent a lot of time following the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation and their fucked up bullshit money laundering, killing Palestinians efforts and feeding almost no one. Yeah, that's right, that one. The controversial U.S. and this is not satire, by the way. The controversial U.S. and Israel-backed Gaza Humanitarian Foundation says it is winding down its aid operations in the Palestinian territory after almost 6 months. This was late last year, is the date of this article. The organization had already suspended its three food distribution sites. Oh boy. In Gaza after the ceasefire between Hamas and Israel took effect 6 weeks ago. So again, this is back in the winter of last year. The GHF aimed to bypass the UN as the main supplier of aid to Gaza's population. Bullshit, they didn't. UN and other aid agencies refused to cooperate with its system, saying it was unethical and unsafe. Yeah, they were also barred, okay? Hundreds of Palestinians were killed while seeking food amid chaotic scenes near GHF sites, mostly by Israeli fire. In fact, probably all. According to the UN, Israel said its troops fired warning shots. Bullshit. They killed people. The GHF said on Monday that it was winding down operations now because of the, quote, successful completion of its emergency mission. Wow. With a total of 3 million packages containing the equivalent of more than 187 million meals delivered to Palestinians. I'd like to check that number because we have the month-by-month reports. The GHF Executive Director, John Ackrey, also said the U.S.-led Civil Military Coordination Center, is that what we're calling it now? Which has been set up to help implement U.S. President Trump's Gaza plan, that's not a peace plan, would be adopting and expanding the model GHF piloted. That's bullshit. It's just whatever. U.S. State Department spokesperson Tommy Pigott. Tommy Pigott is still alive? Oh my gosh. wrote on X, GHF's model in which Hamas could no longer loot and profit from stealing aid played a huge role. Nope, they didn't, but it's okay. A Hamas spokesman said GHF should be held accountable for the harm it caused to Palestinians. I agree with that. We call upon all international human rights organizations to ensure that it does not escape accountability after causing the death and injury of thousands of Gazans and covering up the starvation policy practiced by the Israeli government, Hazem Qassem wrote on his Telegram channel. The GHF began operations in Gaza on May 26, a week after Israel had partially eased a total blockade on aid and commercial deliveries to Gaza that lasted 11 weeks and caused severe shortages of essential supplies. 3 months later, a famine was declared in Gaza City. The GHF's food distribution sites in southern and central Gaza were operated by U.S. private security contractors. That's right, we read about them too. And located inside Israeli military zones, which means people got shot and killed. The UN and its partners said the system contravened the fundamental humanitarian principles of neutrality, impartiality, and independence, and that channeling desperate people into militarized zones, was inherently unsafe. UN's Human Rights Office said it recorded the killing of at least 859 Palestinians seeking food in the vicinity of GHF sites between 26 May and 31 of July. Another 514 people were killed near the routes of UN and other aid convoys, it added. Most of them were killed by the Israeli military, according to the office. The Israeli military said its troop had fired warning shots at people who approached them in a, quote, threatening manner. The GHF said there was no shootings of the aid sites and accused the UN of false and misleading statistics from Gaza's Hamas-run health ministry, which is bullshit. The GHF's future had been uncertain since Hamas and Israel agreed to a ceasefire deal to implement in the first phase of Trump's peace plan. It said aid distribution would take place without interference from the two parties through the United Nations and its agencies and the Red Crescent, in addition to other international institutions not associated in any manner with Hamas and Israel. UN spokesperson Stephanie Dujarric said Monday, this was a while back, that the GHF shutdown would have no impact on its operations because we never worked with them. He also said that while more aid was getting into Gaza since the ceasefire took effect on October 10th, it was not enough to meet all the needs of the $2.1 million population. So just wanted to give you an update on that. Let me check in with you. Hi, Blind Hog. Raisins, dead and dedicated grapes, yes or no? Oh, desiccated. That's what I get for being a jerk. Yeah. A and B. Wait, what happened? Raisin date. Raisin spam. Yeah, I know. Raisin towers. La la la. I need that Easy Bribe app. Yeah, Val, we do. Okay, here we go. Neil's doing a poll. Are raisins A, great, B, super? Neil. C, disgusting. I just don't like them. I don't know why you guys like raisins. So why does everyone like raisins so much? I think they're disgusting. Why do you need to eat them? Like I'll eat a dried cranberry. I'm not against the dried. They're super? Wow, I am so out of it. I'm like the worst. I don't know anything. Okay, this also is a foreign policy article from the January jobs report, which I haven't really gotten into the economics of where we're at. D, stupendous. Oh my God. Am I the only one who doesn't like raisins? Am I literally the only person that doesn't like raisins? I aim to suppress the pro-raisin vote. Yeah. Oh, J-Rant says meh. Okay. All right. C, meh. D, stupendous. E, ridiculous. Useless. All right. What the hell is behind this jobs report? First of all, the January jobs report is always like impacted by seasonal workers from December. Okay. So unfortunately, the January jobs report is not the best jobs report to look at because it's kind of like fucked up by all the seasonal workers that come right at the end of the year right before it. But anyway, oatmeal cookies, they need to just not have raisins in them because I love oatmeal cookies, but I don't like raisins. I'm sorry, okay? You can't make me like raisins. I don't know. I'm not feeling this peer pressure. I'm not dealing with it. A deep distrust of raisins. Houseflies are why I have a deep distrust of raisin cookies. Oh, God. I don't know what that means. I'm not sure what that means. Okay. The first U.S. jobs report of 2026 is so good, it's raising eyebrows and questions. And again, this is foreign policy. This is from the capitalists at Foreign Policy magazine. Believe me, okay? The Trump administration spent recent days warning markets to brace for a terrible January jobs report, which seemed plausible since the administration has deported a lot of the people who drove job creation over the past 4 years, and early private sector employment data was grim. Instead, the administration's closely watched first jobs report of 2026 surprised very much to the upside with a whopping 130,000 net jobs created in January. That's better than in any month last year and almost double the consensus of economists. Stock markets rejoiced and bond markets reveled, or they did briefly before slipping back again into nearly neutral territory. The preliminary January job numbers are so good, especially in light of the lackluster months that preceded them, as to raise eyebrows and questions. The Bureau of Labor Statistics, which compiles the monthly employment reports, also noted as part of its regular revisions that job creation in the United States last year was not, as previously thought, 584,000 net jobs, but actually only 181,000. The first year of President Donald Trump's second term was already remarkable for being the worst in terms of job creation outside a recession since 2003. But it now turns out that it have been much worse than thought. Oops. And yet, Trump administration said on Wednesday that nearly as many jobs were created in the last month as in the entirety of 2025. In every month but one in 2025, job creation numbers were eventually revised downward. That might put an asterisk next to Wednesday's rosy jobs report, as preliminary monthly estimates are often revised in the following months. Quote, the surprise today was the new data for January, a very healthy gain, and coming for the same month as the benchmark revision to prior employment data makes the 130,000 look even better, said Jed Kolko, a senior economist at the Peterson Institute for International Economics, a Washington, D.C. based think tank. The employment data, preliminary as it is so important for Trump's economic agenda because he campaigned in one office a second time on the promise to use aggressive economic policies to boost employment, especially in blue-collar industries, curb inflation, and force other countries to make trade deals that are favorable to the United States. So far, none of those promises have really materialized. One reason to be at least a little skeptical about the Great January Employment Report, beyond the Trump administration's political meddling with the independent agency that oversees such data, is that the economists taking the pulse of the U.S. economy in every corner of the country did not spot any signs of this hiring binge in their most recent report, known as the Beige Book. Instead, the January Beige Book, compiled from data from all 12 districts of the U.S. Federal Reserve, is replete with examples of companies either halting hiring altogether or hiring only to replace departed employees. Another constant is the headache caused by higher costs due to the Trump administration's sweeping tariffs. Quote, employment was mostly unchanged in the most recent hiring period, with 8 of the 12 districts, these are the Federal Reserve banks that are across the country, reporting no changes in hiring. Multiple districts reported an increase in the usage of temporary workers, with one contact reporting this allows them to stay flexible in uncertain times. When firms were hiring, it was mostly to backfill vacancies rather than create new positions, the bank concluded. The real puzzle is the low hiring rate. It is unusual to have fairly low unemployment and so little hiring, and that is what makes this moment so different than any labor market in decades, said Kolko, who previously was the Undersecretary for Economic Affairs at the Commerce Department. Another reason to be underwhelmed by the jobs report is that when employment numbers are broken down by sector, it becomes clear that the United States has essentially become a giant healthcare facility, but is shedding jobs in every other sector of the economy. The only area that showed growth was healthcare, while sectors such as mining and manufacturing continued to shrink, as they did all last year as well. More than the entirety of all jobs created since Trump returned to the White House are in healthcare and private education. At any rate, lower job growth was baked into the Trump administration's plans from the beginning. By cutting the flow of immigrants into the economy and deporting many who are already in the country, the administration has deliberately administered a supply-side shock to the labor force. Economists warned about precisely this, and others have quantified how lower immigration leads to lower economic growth with no offsetting benefits elsewhere. This week, the Dump administration officials appeared to admit as much. White House economic advisor Peter Navarro Smeagol said that the lack of immigrants means fewer jobs. And the other administration argument that at least the jobs that remain are for native-born Americans is false. That was the only population segment that saw unemployment rise last year. And while the Dump administration is celebrating the first non-ghastly monthly employment report in more than a year, it's actually bad news for the thing that Dump cares about the most, lower interest rates. At least when the labor market was officially anemic, as during much of 2025, officials at the Federal Reserve had a legitimate reason to lower interest rates, despite worries about stubborn inflation. Dump wants them to keep cutting rates a lot more, which is why he's ousting Fed governors, investigating the Fed chairman, and nominating friendly faces like Stephen Mirren for the job. But to the extent that the latest jobs report shows a resilient labor market, there will be little reason for the Federal Reserve to cut lending rates more than already planned in the second half of the year, if even that. The upshot of the first full year of Trumponomics 2.0 is the worst non-recession employment record in a generation, deliberately lower growth due to self-imposed trade barriers and higher costs, a weaker dollar, and doubts about the continued role of the United States as the world's economic steward, and worries that Dump may have destroyed U.S. agriculture. Other than that, it's all positive. Hi, TV2. How you doing? The damn files. Anyway. Sorry, that was a little bit in the weeds, but that's important. And that's what this regime is relying upon, is the fact that none of us are going to pay attention to any of this stuff. We're not going to look down below the 130,000 jobs added to the economy. We're not going to remember when that number is revised downwards. We're not going to know that most of those jobs are in healthcare and education and not in manufacturing, right? Those are the details that we cannot be afforded to care about, because I just like, this regime is the biggest boondoggle on the planet, the biggest fucking boondoggle of our lives. And we're just bending over for it. Just over and over and over. Let's see, how long is this one? This one's God, I really want to read that, but let me just make sure I don't get to. I really want to talk about some. Let's read this. Time magazine, which is a pain in the ass, but there you go. 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 There you. All good there? Good. I'm glad to hear it. I lost my job as an economist at the Federal Labor Department. I can hardly wait to start my new job picking asparagus. Yeah, maybe. I'm telling you, maybe. Okay, here's an article for you. Sorry to jump around, but this is what we do. ICE's largest prison contractors hail new growth opportunities as revenue reaches all-time high. Well, the Nazis are doing well in this economy. I'll tell you that. This is from February 12th, Time magazine. The two of Immigration and Customs Enforcement's biggest contractors for building and managing detention centers have posted record revenues in 2025 as companies are expanding their facilities nationwide to hold more immigrants apprehended by the Dump administration. GEO Group, which operates 19 facilities for ICE around the country, reported $2.6 billion in total revenue in 2025, up 6% from $2.43 in 2024. Core Civic, which owns and operates at least 10 ICE detention facilities, reported $2.2 billion in 2025, up 13% from about $2 billion in 2024. During their earnings calls, both companies hailed the rapid expansion of their facilities, marking it a, quote, significant growth opportunity, and said they are working to reactivate facilities that were previously phased out under the Biden administration to meet ICE's increasing detention demands. The two companies have told ICE that together they can hold an additional population of 19,000 if needed. Asked by one caller about how he views the current rate of ICE detentions, which at fewer than 100,000 immigrants a day, at fewer than 100,000 people a day, the caller described as, quote, below what investors thought it was going to be. CEO of Core Civic Patrick Swindle, what a great name, responded by assuring investors that the immigration crackdown will pick up pace. Quote, when you're looking at it the way ICE approaches enforcement action, nothing occurs immediately, Swindle said. So we think about timing. It does take time because it's a very complex ecosystem. And as that ecosystem grows, it's going to result in additional bed demand. Wow, Nazis. Why are y'all so Nazi? Why are you all so Nazi? Why? Why are you all rushing to be Nazis here? What is going on? What's wrong with you? In addition to the expansion of its immigrant detention facilities, GEO Group also saw an increase in ICE's use of its surveillance devices, that's right, which the agency uses to monitor some immigrants as an alternative to detention. During the call, incoming GEO Group CEO George Zolli said the number of participants on GPS ankle monitors has increased from approximately 17,000 in early 2025 to more than 42,000 today. Wow. According to Zolli, ICE is currently holding approximately 70,000 immigrants, people, in 225 separate jails or detention centers, nearly double the number of people detained and the number of available facilities from last year. The Washington Post reported that thanks to an unprecedented $45 billion budget approved by Congress, ICE intends to expand immigrant detention to parts of the country where none are currently located, while building new detention facilities in populous states like California and Texas. The plan would double the agency's number of large-scale mega detention centers, the kind that are contracted out to GEO Group and Core Civic, as well as building makeshift soft-sided structures that can be built in a few weeks. One of the plans that ICE is pursuing in this effort to build massive detention facilities is acquiring warehouses and turning them into jails, despite protests in local communities. GEO Group said it is cautiously participating in this process despite having little experience in renovating warehouses. We've only had one experience in renovating a warehouse, and that occurred maybe 30 years ago. Oh my God, stop, time. Fuck you, Mark Benioff. So it's more complicated than you may think, Zolli said during the earnings call. As a 40-year partner to ICE, we expect to be a part of this solution, he added. For-profit detention centers hold the overwhelming majority of people who are detained by ICE, according to data from Track Immigration. They have also been the site of most of the fatalities in federal immigrant detention that have occurred in recent months. Of the 38 people who died in ICE custody from January to now, 71% were held in for-profit facilities, according to data collected by independent journalist Andrew Free. So, yeah. Wait, where is it? Where's my other thing? Hey, I had another article on this. Where is it? Where's my real estate people? Hold on. What happened to my... Here we go. This is what I had. Sorry about that. I must have gotten rid of it. This I think is from Tina, or somebody sent me this. Gosh, you know what? Can you just assume that other people are sending me things that actually make sense? Protesting is a muscle. Yep. IDKY, I'm so anti-raisin today. Blind, you know what? You're just supporting me in my anti-raisin stance. So we stand together. You like Raisin Bran? Well, then you like raisins. You're just trying to make me feel better. Better than a prude ranch. Prune ranch. There was a recent case in which Vancouver billionaire Jim Pattinson was about to sell one of his warehouses in Virginia to ICE. People heard about the plan and protested. And Pattinson begged, oh, yeah. I don't know, TV2, we had this whole raisin thing this morning. I don't like raisins. Apparently everybody likes raisins, and I'm the odd man out that I don't like raisins, and I'm having a hard time with it. I'm having a hard time with it because I'm being exercised by my community for not liking raisins. And that's why I'm proud to be an American. I'm proud to be an American where at least I know pedos are free. I like my pedos free to do what they must do. All right. Well, whoever sent me this, thank you so much for the Jacobin magazine. This is real estate brokers are profiting from warehouse sales to ICE. Woo, girl. Ooh, girl. Should we see? We can have the pineapple on pizza conversation. 100%. Oh, yeah. There was a ton of shunning. I felt so shunned. Thank you. Thank you, Max. They're just too weird. Like chewy, weird, kind of like that. You know what they almost have? They almost have that black licorice taste that I can't stand. Okay, I'm sorry. And I love pineapple on my pizza. Whatever. Free the pineapple. Hey, this is my shirt. Immigrants are not criminals, but the president is. You can get this on TikTok from a wonderful, in fact, black-owned shop owned by a wonderful woman. So black-owned business making immigrants are not criminals, but the president is. You can get yours today. I'll link that. Isn't that a nice shirt? I love this one. Okay. I love me some thank you, Meowing Star. I totally appreciate that. I was feeling very left. It's feelings. I was in my feelings about the raisin thing, okay? TV2, we can't be friends anymore. Damn it! I've lost so many friends over pineapple. Yeah. Fruit gets me every time. Okay. I wish fruit would get these guys. Okay, real estate brokers are profiting from warehouse sales. Oh, wah. Lucrative deals selling empty warehouses to ICE for the Trump administration's mass deportation machine are quietly being facilitated by a handful of powerful real estate brokers. Forgive me when I read things wrong. I tend to do that. Over the past several weeks, Trump immigration officials have been prospecting for empty warehouses to retrofit as mega detention centers for the tens of thousands caught up in the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement deportation dragnet. The lucrative deals to acquire the warehouses are being quietly facilitated by a handful of powerful, politically connected real estate brokers, including one with financial ties to Donald Trump's Secretary of Commerce, Howard Lutnick. What? Mm-hmm. Howard Nutlicker? Outcry over these deals. Wait a minute, what? One, including one with financial ties to Lutnick? Okay, we're going to find out. Outcry over these deals has focused largely on the warehouse owners, some of whom have backed out after public pressure, and in at least one case claimed they were unaware of the prospective buyer's identity. Oh, but these multi-million-dollar deals are handled directly by brokers who promote properties and close the sales. The payoff for the sales agents who collect commissions on each deal could potentially be worth millions of dollars, supplying the Department of Homeland Security, ICE's parent agency, with highly sought-after infrastructure, while bailing out the commercial real estate owners who have struggled to sell their properties over the past year under the weight of macroeconomic headwinds and Trump's tariff war. Quote, given that the commercial real estate is sucking wind right now, just about the only way to make money is to leverage political connections to become involved in the heavily political spaces of AI data centers and deportation infrastructure. Well, Jeff said it. Jeff Hauser, executive director of the Revolving Door Project, a government watchdog group tracking conflicts of interest. DHS has purchased several of these facilities in recent weeks, including one in Arizona for $70 million and one in Maryland for more than $100 million. Other deals, however, have been held up by public backlash. At an Oklahoma City Council meeting last month, dozens of residents testified in opposition to ICE's proposal to buy a 1 million square foot warehouse south of the city. Because municipal officials have little power over the federal government's land grabs, even if they run afoul of local zoning laws, advocates focused on the corporate actors who stood to profit, including Newmark Group, the broker advertising the warehouse. Why is a realtor who is in charge of economic development trying to sell a property to the federal government to turn Oklahoma City into a war zone? Said Mark Falk, the former chair of the Oklahoma County Democratic Party and a current candidate for county commissioner. There's a lot of C's in there. In public comments at the city council meeting, which stretched nearly 5 hours. An online brochure for Oklahoma City properties lists Robinson Park, a local branch of $1 billion real estate giant Newmark Group, as the broker. Newmark also represents another industrial warehouse nearby that ICE is reported looking to buy. Until President Dump appointed him to be Commerce Secretary last year, Nuttlicker served as the chairman of Newmark's board and CEO of Newmark's parent company. What? Cantor Fitzgerald? What? Wait a minute. Wait. Cantor Fitzgerald?
In a world fraught with confusion, one woman will break her silence.
I don't know. Oh my God. Although Nuttlicker has since divested his business interest to comply with federal ethics law because he's nothing if not federally ethical, including his 11 million shares in Newmark, he has passed the company's torch to his son, Kyle Lutnick. The younger Nuttlicker, who serves as the executive vice chairman of Cantor Fitzgerald, became a director at the Newmark Group when his father left. Kyle Lutnick's business dealings have overlapped with his father's policy decisions on a host of issues, drawing scrutiny. Apparently not enough scrutiny. Okay, I'm just going to say. I just don't think that's enough scrutiny. And what is Kyle also doing with Steve Witkoff's son in Ukraine? Okay? Can we talk about that? I don't know. For instance, Newmark Group has enjoyed massive windfalls from its data center business. Oh, my God. As the New York Times reported in November, while the elder Nuttlicker pushed for increased data center construction from his post in the Commerce Department. Newmark collected fees and commissions on the $25 billion in data center deals it brokered, as would be the case with ICE real estate transactions. The Oklahoma branch of Newmark did not reply to multiple inquiries from the Lever about its involvement in the 2 warehouse sales in the state. According to organizers in Oklahoma City, opponents of the ICE facility flooded the phone lines of the Newmark Robinson Park branch to urge the broker not to go through with the deal. After days of outcry and campaigning against Newmark and the owner of Oklahoma City warehouse, Kansas City-based real estate firm Flint Development, Oklahoma City's mayor, David Holt, announced that the deal was off. In a January 29 statement, Holt wrote that the owners of the warehouse, presumably Flint Development, quote, confirmed to me this morning that they are no longer engaged with the Department of Homeland Security about a potential acquisition or lease of this property. The mayor would not answer the Lever's questions about the deal. Flint Development is involved in another property deal with ICE in El Paso, Texas. The firm's managing partner, Devin Schuster, is a former Newmark executive, according to his LinkedIn profile. Flint Development recently stripped information about its executive team from its website. Those details were available as recently as December, before its dealings with DHS became public. Gosh, if you have to hide your relationship with DHS, don't you think that means there's a problem? If you have to hide something, that's a problem. Schuster and Flint Development did not reply. While the Oklahoma City deal appears to be quashed outside the city limits in the township of Durant, Nuttlicker's old firm is brokering another proposed sale to DHS. Newmark Robinson Park is listed as the broker on a property address, a vacant distribution center that local reports indicate is being eyed by Homeland Security. The warehouse, a former Big Lots distribution center, closed last year among the retailer's bankruptcy, resulting in the loss of more than 300 jobs in the area. Bloomberg reported last week that ICE purchased a former Big Lots warehouse for $120 million in Pennsylvania. One of the sales agents named on the company's site listing confirmed that Newmark is the broker but would not comment on the status of the sale. In January, the Durant City Council passed a local ordinance restricting property sales to ICE, but the federal government has broad authority to override local law through a federal preemption rule known as the Supremacy Clause. Ooh. Local officials have almost no role in such deals. Explained Dan Meyer, a Washington, D.C. based attorney focused on federal employment and contracting. That makes the brokers involved in these deals key points of pressure for city officials. For example, Newmark Robinson Park is a key stakeholder in other Durant City projects subsidized with tax dollars, including a new downtown business development called MAPS. Robinson Park CEO Mark Beffert is the vice chair of the local Chamber of Commerce, which works closely with the mayor's office on economic development. The proposed deals in Oklahoma are just two of more than 20 proposed sites where DHS is actively trying to build out infrastructure for mass detentions and deportations. When the federal government wants to buy a piece of real estate, federal agencies can shop on the commercial market to purchase properties, as Homeland Security has done for ICE detention centers. In these instances, the government typically uses a realtor to buy a property from its broker, a standard process for government purchases of commercial real estate, according to Joshua Harris, a real estate professor at Fordham University. For the brokers advertising these warehouses, sales payoff can be lucrative. Brokers' fees and commissions on such deals can vary widely based on the type of property and the size of the sale, but rates typically range from 4 to 8% of the total sale price, with commissions typically lower for massive industrial warehouses. Along with Newmark, a handful of large real estate firms have been listed as brokers for properties purchased or under consideration by ICE. According to commercial listings, they include CBRE Group, the world's largest real estate investment firm, and Jones Lang LaSalle, a global real estate company based in Chicago. Representatives at CBRE and Jones Lang LaSalle, both of which were listed realtors for properties purchased by ICE, did not respond to detailed questions from the lever about their potential involvement. And Newmark isn't the only big brokerage firm involved with ties to the dump administration. In Hutchins, Texas, just outside Dallas, ICE reportedly bought a vacant Amazon facility for $80 million to expand its detention processing in the region. The broker's contact cited on the property listing was Majestic Realty, a Los Angeles-based firm owned by billionaire real estate mogul Ed Roski Jr. Oh, it's in L.A.? Oh, do you need a dinosaur, Majestic Realty? I think you do. I think you need a dinosaur. I think you need a dinosaur. I think you need a dinosaur. Owned by billionaire real estate mogul Ed Roski Jr., a longtime GOP donor and dump campaign contributor, as well as partial owner of the LA Lakers, who suck. Go Warriors. In the 2024 election cycle, Roski donated a combined $200,000 to the Trump campaign and related Republican spending vehicles. No one responds to requests for comment. Well, guess what? They're going to have I'm going to find out where Majestic Realty is. Let's find that. Majestic Realty. Anybody know if we can find out where Majestic Realty is located? And Mama will take her little dinosaur costume and go down there and give them a couple pieces of her mind. During the pandemic era e-commerce boom, speculators rushed to build and lease warehouse space. Many of the far-flung warehouses are now being scouted by ICE or built for a handful of e-commerce behemoths, such as Amazon and Walmart, that require specialized high-volume distribution facilities. Quote, a ton of money was put into these buildings under the concept that they're going to be handling frequent in-and-out trucking heavy materials, Harris explained. But these investments have sometimes failed to pay off, as tariff uncertainty has caused commercial real estate demand to falter, although it began to recover at the end of 2025. In one case, the owner of a vacant Maryland warehouse recently acquired by ICE for over $100 million complained in earlier Securities and Exchange Commission filings about the property's toll on its investment portfolio, per reporting by Project Saltbox, an ICE watchdog in the state. Now, DHS's unprecedented spending spree opens a promising new avenue for owners and brokers holding on to flagging warehouse investments. Just turn them into a concentration camp. I've never seen anything like it in my time in real estate, Harris said of the agency's acquisitions. Well, strap in, baby. The first indication that ICE was planning to buy up commercial warehouses to detain immigrants came in early November when NBC News reported, citing internal sources, that the agency was considering such a plan, which would dramatically expand ICE's detention apparatus. Then, in December, as the Lever first reported, ICE inked a $29.9 million contract with design firm KPB Services for concept design for mega processing centers throughout the country. The vendor, a tribally owned company in Kansas, backed out of the deal after community backlash. Over the next several weeks, the full scope of ICE's planned acquisitions emerged. The agency has acquired at least 4 warehouses, each for tens of millions of dollars. Another 20 or so sites are reportedly under consideration, though community pushback has foiled several of the deals, including in Virginia and in Salt Lake City. God bless us. The brokers overseeing these properties are often named in advertising and commercial listing materials, but are not typically included on resulting sales deeds. Therefore, it's difficult to determine how much revenue firms like Newmark are generating from these deals and the extent of their involvement in the final sales. Nevertheless, it appears that these politically connected companies are well positioned to profit from Homeland Security's ambitious new plan to supersize its detention process. As acting director of ICE, Todd Lyons put it last April, quote, "We need to get better." Wait.
Few hours.
Whoops. Wrong one.
Oh, wait. Oh, there, that's it. Okay. We need to get better at treating detentions like a business. Like Amazon Prime, but with human beings and not toasters. Yeah, not toasters. Just human beings. Yeah. Because I don't think human beings are... I think human beings are like toasters. Especially brown people. Brown and black people, Todd Lyons said, are like toasters. And we should put them in a warehouse.
That's what he said. Already read that. Oh my God. Did I get through everything? Holy moly. Holy moly. Holy moly. Holy moly. What's closed? Some Jets Pizza now. Oh, Jets Pizza. Where's that? It sounds good. Trump is throwing a temper tantrum against Maryland's governor. Oh, again. I miss the Raisin Tower's deep distrust. Oh, thank you, Jane. Thank you. Thank you for that. I appreciate your solidarity because everyone is pro Raisin in this chat apparently. Ugh. Okay, let's see what else is happening because there was something else. Oh, it's 9:00. That's right. I thought there was something coming up. Oh shit, man. Well, we don't have to do the super long show today. Because guess what? We are coming up tonight. Yeah. We're coming up tonight. Crispy Gnome. Yeah, where is Crispy? She's going to be late. You know that bitch? She is going to be late. I fucking hate her. I don't know. Wait, let's see. Hold on. Stay with me. Don't leave. Don't go. Hello. Is it? I see. I can't sing the whatchamacallit. Oh, it's an hour. Yeah, with the lateness, probably close to an hour. I know. I wanted to watch her because she's talking about erections. I need to hear what she's talking about. Erections. Well, we can just sit here for a half an hour. Terabithia. Bridge to Terabithia. That's a sad movie with the lateness. Yeah. FYI, prunes are from Italian prune plums. Well, there you go. Like all prunes come from Italy? Is that what you're saying, Lisa? Grace Lisa, are you saying that they're oofed at a raisin tower for you? There you go. Terrible. You're terrible people. What is what we just... Oh, okay. Sharon Brown. Hi, Sharon. I had to miss this more. You have missed a shit show to end all shit shows. We've gone from Epstein to ICE detention centers to raisins and everything in between. And I don't know. Sharon, how do you feel about raisins? Can you give us your opinion? Do you have an opinion about raisins? That's what's really taking our attention this morning. We just can't seem to get over the dried fruit aspects of the conversation. I can't explain it. Oh, you know what, though? I think I might have some more stuff here while we're waiting. While we're waiting, let me say. While we're waiting, let me say. God, I really love all the noise in my name. Let me tell you about the noise in my neighborhood. Let me tell you about the noise in my neighborhood. Okay, let me see. Okay, what do we got here? Crispy Gnome at 9:30. Yeah, right. Oh, I thought this was cute. I want to show you this. Oh, wait. Actually, I have something. Oh, my God. I forgot about this. I think, Teresa, I think you actually shared this with me. And you know I have a girl crush on Maria Ressa. Like huge. Like a massive. Oh, that's the wrong one. You know how I feel about Maria Ressa. She is my hero. And we love her. And she loves us. She loves the lounge because she has talked to me. What are we waiting for? I don't know. We're kind of killing. You love raisins? All right. That's fine. I mean, you know, me and Blind Hog don't like raisins. Or do you like raisins? I don't know. I think she does. She likes raisins. Does Crispy like raisins? I don't know. She probably does. They're getting to build a new bridge across the Chesapeake Bay. Dump tried to hold up funding for the collapsed Francis Scott Key Bridge. Really? Or beer. Does she like raisins? Oh my God, I wish I was faster and then it would be funnier. I'm not faster. Wait. Where's my beer thing? Where's the beer thing? Oh, here it is. There we go. There. I like beer. I liked beer. I still like beer. But do you like raisins? Do you like raisins, sir? Sir? Do you like raisins? Oh my God. Go off. Oh. Okay. What the fuck? Oh. Okay, I see. All right. Anyway, Maria Ressa, I want to show you this. And deeply appreciate. I think it was Teresa that showed it to me. What about cherries on cheesecake? No, we had that. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna just shut up and let you play.
Well, 225 executive orders, crackdowns on immigration, and major funding cuts to scientific research and USAID. The U.S. has transformed significantly since President Trump returned to office over a year ago. As public trust in American institutions erodes, Nobel Peace Prize laureate Maria Ressa warns of a narrative warfare being waged by Trump, not unlike and, quote, far more insidious than what she experienced in the Philippines under former leader Rodrigo Duterte. Maria Ressa joins Hari Srinivasan to speak about her recent report on the subject.
Bianna, thanks. Maria Ressa, thanks so much for joining us. Maria, you have been an outspoken advocate for the press, especially when you were in the Philippines and you witnessed and lived through how that government cracked down on the press. And you wrote a recent report at The Nerve, which looked at the first 100 days of the second Trump administration, in which you said, "We recognized the warning signs immediately. It was a systematic importation and evolution of the authoritarian playbook that we survived in the Philippines." Put this in perspective for us. Compared to what you witnessed in the Philippines, how concerned are you for the United States?
Extremely concerned. I mean, I tell friends I have both deja vu and PTSD. And every development, it's like, oh my God, we've lived through this. And oh my God, what is happening? Look, the report's title is Narrative Warfare and the Breakdown of Reality. I think if you don't look at the data, you miss that cumulative effect, the way people's behavior changed, right? So just on social media alone, we knew lies spread 6 times faster. That's a 2018 MIT study. But we saw in the Philippines in 2017, if you lace it with fear, anger, and hate, it goes viral. And then it isn't just the virality, it's also the seeding of a meta-narrative that is a lie, but then the opportunistic amplification every time. So a lie told a million times becomes a fact. If you can't tell fact from fiction, if people believe lies are facts, then you can control them. And what we're seeing here is the same thing that we lived through in the Philippines, which is narrative warfare up top. In the first 100 days of Trump 2.0, it was 143 executive orders that didn't just act as policy or dismantle institutions like USAID in the physical world. They were content triggers in the virtual world, right? Where the public information ecosystem's design is determined by big tech for profit. So those 143 EOs literally created this narrative warfare. That would be the top of the funnel. What's the end goal? The second part of it is when people can't tell fact from fiction, civic engagement disappears. And the middle of it is the dismantling of institutions. There are no checks and balances. We lived through this in the Philippines under Rodrigo Duterte in 2016. It took him 6 months. I think our report posits to you that in America, it happened within 100 days, 143 EOs. And then the last part, the biggest change from 2016 to today is the fusion of state with big tech, right? And you can see that in the dismantling of safety measures that had been put in place, that had been demanded by the world. By 2024, we had these measures, but then Facebook just decided to take them down. No fact checking. And people went to vote in America with more propaganda than facts. News organizations' distribution was far less than it should have been. We are living through an information Armageddon. In order to make democracy work, we need a shared reality. And I've said this over and over, the 3 sentences since 2016. Facts don't spread as fast as lies, right? So if you don't have facts, you can't have truth. Without truth, you can't have trust. Without these 3, we don't have a shared reality. You can't have journalism. You can't have democracy.
You know, let's break that down a little bit. So say, for example, an executive order comes out. How does it go through the sort of tech ecosystem?
Look, first, it's not an accident. Like we called it in the report, a deconstruction model, where in the past, the persuasion model, a government would have to persuade its citizens, have discussions about policy, right? But what happened here with the deconstruction model is the gatekeepers, institutional gatekeepers, the press, Congress, legislature, think tanks, the academics, all of the discussion that goes around a policy, should we dismantle USAID, is completely thrown out. And the content triggers then, so that when the EO happens, the content trigger goes in. The administration uses executive actions to create narrative events. They're amplified, a decentralized network of influencers. They reframe these events for politically aligned communities, and then it's reinforced by platform algorithms that reward this emotional behavior. You know, politics becomes a gladiator's battle to the death. But I think more interesting than all of this are this isn't an accident. There's a deliberate political strategy that leverages direct, unmediated communication to bypass traditional checks and balances. There's a technological architecture that's social media platforms are built to reward emotions. They spread further. And then there's an economic model, right? The creator economy, and no offense to influencers and creators, but you are part of an ecosystem that monetizes attention. And it creates this powerful financial incentive. So TikTok was the most interesting because it's all about spectacle and moving it away from policy to personalities. It's influencer-driven reality. Independent creators drove 66% of all engagement, dwarfing mainstream media, which only had 32%. Instead of talking about policy, it went to Baron Trump instead. It It created the presidency as pop culture. It softens the image of authoritarian power for younger audiences. Americans now get their news from social media, right? In TikTok, complex executive orders were stripped of all meaning, of context, and they were repackaged as memes and irony.
So what happens when the institutions that used to stand in the middle, whether it's Congress or an independent press, get eroded away or are made, well, inconsequential, less relevant by this sort of information funnel and this warfare that you're talking about?
Impunity. What you get literally, and, you know, in How to Stand Up to a Dictator, most people assume the dictator I was talking about is Rodrigo Duterte, who, by the way, was arrested March last year. He is now jailed in The Hague, awaiting a trial. The charge against him is crimes against humanity, right? But
as evidenced through Maria Ressa and her journalism, because she started Rappler, which is a Philippine media company, newspaper, I guess, online newspaper. And she uncovered everything that was happening with Duterte. She is the reason that Duterte is sitting in a prison in The Hague. We should read her book. We should definitely read her book. Yeah.
the bigger dictator in How to Stand Up to a Dictator was Mark Zuckerberg, right? He's not elected. He determines what billions of people around the world see and feel and influences the way we act insidiously. When you see in my country, it was my government that attacked me. And you're seeing some of this happening. Actually, that's the narrative warfare we lay out in the report here. But for me, look, in 2017, the narrative warfare against me was hashtag arrest Maria Ressa trended. And then I was arrested in 2019. But in 2017, it was laughable. So it's like fertilizer seeding the ground. The commodification of news has led to a steady decline in the kind of news that reaches the widest audience. And that goes hand in hand with when someone in power like President Trump, like President Duterte, calls an investigative report fake news, an investigative reporter fake news, that is very, very different and carries consequences. When the gatekeepers are gone, then you have unrestrained power, and the impunity happens not just at the state level, but also at the technology that underpins this.
You have been very critical of Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook, and you've called him kind of more dangerous and a bigger dictator than Duterte. And Duterte is admitted to having death squads. He's literally killed hundreds, if not more, thousands of people. Why is Zuckerberg worse, in your opinion?
Here's an easy one that everyone has already agreed to, and I've watched the narrative shift over time. 2018, Myanmar, where it was genocide in Myanmar enabled by Facebook, and both Facebook and the UN sent its teams to investigate that. They came out with the same conclusion, that it had enabled this. I've watched this in the Philippines. I've lived through it. Like literally, I'm not just giving you data. I'm giving you the experience of it. And if we don't fix it, democracy will not survive through it, right? You'll have a lot of companies with a lot of profit, but it comes at a societal, at a global expense. At some point, the world will tip. And it's the same in a closed system when a meta-narrative is seeded, right? You pound it opportunistically. At some point, it takes over the system. We're at that phase.
Jeff Curry, I love you. I love you. You can't stay. Thank you for coming in, and thank you for hitting the thumbs up, and thank you for letting me know that I'm 29. I really appreciate that. Yeah. Okay.
And the problem globally, and you're seeing this, whether it is in the UK or France or Germany or even Canada,
Thank you.
right? Or Australia, what you're seeing is the democratic leaders are standing on wood that is being eaten by termites. And that wood will collapse until we extinguish the termites. That's what narrative warfare does.
You said that one of the bottoms of this funnel is that there is a kleptocracy, or inherently that's what it enables. Explain that.
In the Philippines, what we saw, 6 months, Duterte became the most powerful leader we had ever had. More powerful than the first Marcos in 1972 when he declared martial law by executive order, right? So the top of the funnel. And then it goes down. Within 6 months, the legislature essentially collapsed. So what happens when all of that goes is that you don't have a democracy anymore, and it is transforming in front of your eyes. It's the death by 1,000 cuts of a democracy.
One of the things you've written about before is how Duterte was really kind of picking off the sort of elites in the top, and to make examples of particular type of individuals and institutions that creates a massive chilling effect. How did you overcome that in the Philippines, where people knew that this could be injurious to their personal health if they decided to spread this information?
I decided not to leave the Philippines. Rappler was the third news organization targeted by Duterte. So I held a meeting and I told everybody in Rappler, it's going to get worse. And you look, if this is too much for you, let us know and we will help you find a job in another news organization. Not one reporter took that. Not one journalist took that offer. One of the things that we did was, if a dozen agents came in, and they did when they arrested me on February 13th, right? But if they came in to try to shut down Rappler, what would we do, right? We had code. We had one code word that would give us 5 minutes for every report, every person inside Rappler to shut down their electronics. We did quarterly drills of a raid if they came in. I wanted to be prepared. And those drills, our people didn't know whether they were real or not. And some of our people cried through it. But each time we learned something and it prepared us. That's the thing, right? The 7 P's, proper preparation. We drilled it every quarter. So we were prepared for the worst. It never happened, thank God. But we were prepared, and because we were prepared for the worst, we weren't afraid.
You look at this as not a free speech issue. If we wanted to try to constrain some of what the social media platforms are doing today, you're saying stop trying to argue the speech case, start looking at the safety case. Explain that.
This is by design harmful to us, and where we've seen the most progress, and this is bipartisan even in the United States, is on safety for kids, right? I mean, think about how corrupted this is. Lies spread faster. If you lace it with fear, anger, and hate, it spreads even faster. Did you actually agree to be cloned in the virtual world? Data privacy is largely a myth now in America, right? Like, I didn't agree to that. There's a little bit more protection if you're in the EU. The laws in the EU helped us in the global south. So a lot of this, everything in the physical world is now being replicated in the virtual world. But democratic countries also abdicated responsibility for protecting its citizens in the virtual world, right? In November 2022, we came up, about 300 Nobel laureates, civil society groups. We came up with a 10-point action plan that boils down to just 3 buckets. The first is to stop surveillance for profit. We did not give approval to be cloned. And this kind of, this kind of cloning insidiously manipulates us. So stop surveillance for profit. The second one is stop coded bias. Because if you are a woman or LGBTQ+, if you are brown or black or part of any ethnic minority, you're further marginalized online. The third is journalism as an antidote to tyranny. Because Think about the system that big tech created, social media first, and now we can talk about chatbots separately, but in social media, what's rewarded, right? A news organization separates the publisher, the arm that has to make money, from the journalism group that has to call a spade, that has to tell you things you may not want to hear. What big tech did is it rewarded telling you everything you want to hear without any guardrails in place. So that's the next phase. We have a shared reality on facts. When that happens, we can have civilized policy discussions. We can agree to disagree. We can learn. That's the other part, right? It's not the cult of the amateur. And finally, the last part of it is that builds community. That's how we bring disparate voices together, by finding our common ground. If we don't fix the public information ecosystem, everything we do downstream will collapse because we live in toxic sludge.
Nobel Peace Prize laureate and CEO of Rappler, Maria Ressa, thanks so much for your time.
No, thank you.
I love her so much. I gotta tell you, I have a real obsession with that woman. It's probably healthy, but it's still an obsession. I am obsessed. She says everything I feel. And of course she's like the champion. Like, she's put her personal life in danger to stop disinformation in her country and the ensuing autocracy that brought it in. It's not even restricted to just online here. We have Fox News. Yeah, absolutely. Like, it's a completely different. I mean, she's just, yeah. So I don't know, Maria Ressa, you are saying everything that I feel and saying it so well, and you actually put yourself on the line in mortal danger to protect people, and now you are the one that put that man in The Hague. And I just like, this is so important. I think we're going to read her book. I had an audio of it, but I just got the Kindle because I want to read it to you. Not now, but I will do some special like sessions on Maria Ressa's book, How to Stand Up to a Dictator. And we'll do that as a separate thing. I'm sorry. I'm just like, I can't keep up with all this stuff. So I really apologize. We probably should have read her book like a year ago or something, but better late than never, I guess. But, I really can't believe like how grateful I am that she exists and is speaking out so much. We watched her in the Doomsday Clock, 'cause she's a member of that. Talking about the impacts to the world and the Doomsday Clock and what it reflects about how the world has gotten closer to, doomsday, I guess. So that was an excellent thing. We watched that a few weeks ago. So anyway, highly recommend anytime you see Maria Ressa, anywhere, anything, drop what you're doing and listen, because it is relevant. It is always relevant. It is always interesting. It is always new. It is always information that I haven't really considered before. It is a way of thinking things. Let's see. I think we need to be careful, or maybe a better phrase of knowledge, that professional journalist outlets can be captured by authoritarian, but to varying degrees, like the New York Times. Absolutely. And I think that's one of the things that she was trying to say, is that you have a situation now where you have kind of that oligarch ownership over traditional media, which then inevitably has influenced what normally would have been your journalists on the front line, not actually, having to speak truth to power, but while beholden to oligarch ownership over their media outlet. And I think that those lines have gotten even more muddied because, again, this is a point in time when the rich people understand that they need to have, that they need to ensure that they will not be held accountable for the crimes against humanity that they have committed. So can you imagine a cornered animal? Okay, a cornered animal is going to do whatever it takes to protect themselves. And what we see here is a group of somewhat cornered animals of oligarchs. And that's why the Epstein stuff is so fucking toxic to the power structure, is that it tells you that there are powerful people that are really shitty and that shouldn't have enjoyed the freedom or the luxuries that they have been able to enjoy. And when enough people get really pissed off about that, they will revolt. See French Revolution. See whatever revolution you want. Okay, this is history. People are pretty basic when it comes to history. Anyway, hi Lee, lunchtime. Oh, and maybe we'll get Crispy Gnome now that, well, of course she's not going to be on time. What are we saying? Crispy Gnome. Anyway, I love Maria Ressa. Disinformation is key. It's really shitty, and I really hope that we learn our lesson about disinformation. I really do. I don't know if that's possible, but I live in hope. I would like to mention that Henry Cuellar voted for the SAVE Act. Henry Cuellar is such a fucking GOP. Like, what the fuck are we even doing with Henry Cuellar? Henry Cuellar should not fucking be a fucking... he should not be a fucking whatchamacallit. Well, Democrat. Number one, he shouldn't be a Democrat. Number two, he's a fucking criminal. Like, let's get Henry Cuellar the fuck out of here. Like, what the fuck? What are we doing? What are we even doing? Why are we even entertaining that? We don't, I mean, the seat is the seat. I don't care about that. I don't want a shithead in the seat. I don't know. He's voting like a fucking Republican. So, just switch your party there, bitch. Stop playing both sides of all the shit. Can't stand it. Gnome's looking for the largest cowboy hat. That's a lot of hat and no cattle. Yeah. Is Corey there too? He's under the podium. Oh, wait a minute. I know where Corey is. You want it, Corey? Corey's here. Hold on. I'll find him for you. Hey, Corey. Corey, somebody's calling for you. Huh, Corey? Hey, Corey, can you come out? Because, Corey, somebody's calling for you. Hold on. Corey. He'll be out in a minute. Hold on. Corey, come on. Oh, there you are. Okay, Corey. Oh, there you are. There's Corey Lewandowski. There's Corey Lewandowski. He's ready. He's ready to go. He's ready to go. He's ready to rock and roll him. Rock and roll him, Crispy. Rock and roll him right on my dick. Right on my dick. Here, I'm going to put my dick right up there for you. Don't insult cartoon characters. I thought Henry Cuellar was already done. Okay, Meowing Star? I don't know why his name is even still like fucking... I cannot believe this. Let me see. I need to... Oh, wow. I'm trying to flip him to stand straight up, but if for some reason I can't do it. Oh, wait, here we go. There we go. I don't know why I had him laying down. I'm sure there was a reason. Here, he's going to stand right here. Oh, he's not that tall. Come on. He's much smaller than that in real life. Let's put a few people up here. Actually, let's put a few people up here. Okay, so we've got Corey. He's going to stand right here next to his girl. Buzzwords against disinformation. Yeah, exactly. What she sees in him, I think this is all about the dick. Let's see. What else do we have here? Okay. Well, so let's see. Will Janine Pirro be there? No, I guess she's not going to be there. Maybe Peter Thiel heard me talking about him and he's going to show up. Yeah, he could probably. Oops. Oh, he's gone. I don't know where he is. I guess he left. I guess Peter Thiel left. Okay, that's fine. Let's see. Who else? Who else is here? Who else? Oh, here's an oldie but a goodie. He's over here. And then, oh, this guy he always wants to be, oh, damn. All these things are like off the screen now. God damn it. Schmedium. He's a schmedium. This is Tom Fitton from Judicial Watch. Okay. Jen Griffey and I have deemed him schmedium. You don't like raisins? Thank you, Teresa. I really appreciate you. It's about time. It's about time. Oh, and then not to be outdone. Okay, actually, I know what's happening. All these things are like fucked up. Hold on. Okay, it's all right. Oh my God. You know what? I know what's happening. Okay, that might be a little better. I know. Carrie. Okay. I'm going to take Tom Fitton off our screen. Hold on. Oh, wait. This guy might... Oh, man. Everything is off screen. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm sorry. Oh, my God. Everything's all disgusting now. Hold on. I fucked everything up. Hold on. I got to get him off the screen. Oh my God, I have too many idiots on my screen. Okay, there's that one. Oh, there's the internet philosopher. Curtis Yarvin. Wait, what else do I have? Oh yeah. Oh, maybe Marty McCary will show up. Marty! I'm sorry. Is he on the toilet? I don't know. It depends. It depends on what you're asking. Let's see. What are some old good ones that we haven't done in a while? Let's see. What have we not done in a while? Hold on. Oh, there's this guy. This guy is who we have to thank for most things. That's Roy Cohn, if you don't know. Let's see. Who else? We have this guy to blame. There's that one. Clarence Thomas. Yep. We can blame this idiot, the drone boy, Palmer Luckey, trying to kill us all. That's right. We fucking hate him. That's for sure. And then we've got, Sad Marco. Oh. Wait, hold on. Sorry, Marco. I'm so sorry. I don't know. It's so sad. Let's see. Who else do we have? Well, let's see. I don't know. Oh, Corey, where'd you go? Corey ran away. Corey, come back. Oh, there you are, you little whippersnapper. Oh! You just stay there, little bitch. You just stay there. Oh, it's this wizard. Oh, Cash is a wizard. Distinguished discoverer. Oh, shit. Cancel. Wait, is this... I think that's Clayburgh's avatar as a South Park character. Oh, there's Nutlicker. Why do I... Oh, I still have the background on him. I think that's Clay's. Yeah, I think it's Clay's. I don't know where mine is. It looks terrible now. Oh, here's Damian Vance. TBT. Throwback. That's a real throwback. Let's see. I've got Ivan. Oh, where is Ivan? Oh, do I have Ivan? Oh, I don't have Ivan. Oh, okay, fine. Whatevs. Hold on. Let's see. What else? There's more. There's more. Oh, there's an old one. This is a good one. Oh, whoops. Tim Pool. Jane, I'm just playing with my paper dolls. That's what I'm doing. I have paper dolls. I like to play with them. Oh, here's one. This is a trivia for the group in the audience. Who's this guy? Who's this guy? Speaking of erections, who's this guy? I mean, elections. Let's see. What else have we got? I'm going to go down into the deep. Oh, okay, we've got this. This is great. This isn't really old, but this is pretty good. Oops. Yeah, Mr. Rogers. Russ Vote. I have Russ Vote. No, that's Doug Frank. That's right, J Rance. You win. Ding, 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 ding. Zing, zing, zing. Zing a ding, ding. Is Crispy going to talk about this stuff? Is she going to talk about this? It's not trivia time yet. No. It's not Russ Vote. No, I have Russ Vote, I think, but that was definitely Doug Frank. He looks a lot like Russ Vote. Let's see. Here's the cabinet. Here's the cabinet. Oh, wait, that's Brondo. This was a J-Rance meme. Wait, we've got to appreciate this meme. This is a J-Rance, right? I think this is a J-Rance. Corey, you're in the way, but that's okay. But anyway, you've got to look at this Brondo, the thirst mutilator. We watched too much Idiocracy. Oh, it wasn't you? Oh my God, how embarrassing. I don't even know then. But this is really the message. Run. Wow, we used this so much during the old days. I can't even believe it. What's this? Resist. Okay, that's fine. Soup. Oh, that's Soup Mama. Convoy. Oh, wait. Oh, it's not Monday. Otherwise, I'd do Mondays and me being chased, but no, it's not Monday. Damn. Okay, wait, hold on. Hold on. What do we got? Let's see. Oh, what is that? Oh, no, I think that's an old one. Oh, this. Remember these days? Oh, my God. Okay, wait. I got to get the dino off of there. Hold on. Okay. Remember this? Well, actually, remember this guy? I can't remember who he said he looked like, but now I'm just forgetting. Okay. Let's see here. What was the one I wanted to show you? Oh, the corn children. So we have these corn children. This was way back when Dump was in trial. Remember that? Remember those days when he was being held accountable for his crimes? Remember that? And we had all kinds of pictures of the people who would stand outside simping for a pedophile. Here he is, simping for himself with Turd Blanche. There's Turd Blanche. There's Crash Patel. And that's, what's his name? That's some fucking senator. I can't remember. Well, the bitch is late. I guess she's pooping. Zeldin. Oh, Zeldin is a fucking... he's a monster. Okay, can I just say that? But then what I really... Yeah, we had so many pictures. Oh, shit. Yeah, okay. We had so many pictures of him in court. Look at this. These are all from different days. Can you fucking believe this? How in the hell? I know I have one more. Hold on, I've got one more. Just bear with me and I'll find it. Where is it? Let me find it. Hold on. It's very important that I find this. It's very, very, very important. Oh my God, am I not going to be able to find it? I'm going to be so mad. Oh, here we go. There it is. Oh, fuck yeah. This is the other one oh, wait, no. These are the real corn children. No. But what's the difference? What's the difference? What's the difference? Okay, and here's the other thing. You know, now that you bring up Zeldin, God, I'd really like to talk about Zeldin for a minute. Hold on, let me just get this fucking... Oh, man, now I have too many corn children on my fucking screen. Hold on, I've got all these corn children I've got to turn off. Oh my God, I am so funny. I really crack myself up. I gotta tell you, I'm like a very funny person. Okay, wait. Children. More Trump children of the corn. Even more Trump children of the corn. Okay, all the Trump children of the corn are gone. But we are going to talk about Lee Zeldin and the fact that he's raping our world, and the executive order that came out yesterday that basically said climate science doesn't drive emission standards anymore. So there are no emission standards on vehicles coming up. That's right. Make asthma great again. Because the EPA just rolled it all back. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, yeah. Well, let's talk about what climate change, what that means for automakers. That's a great idea. Hold on. Oh, my God. This is why we can't have nice things, okay? It's because people fucking do this shit. Because people like to make money. Corey, you're in my way, but that's okay. All right, this is from CNBC. What's the EPA's flip on climate change means for automakers? Well, I'll tell you what it means for the globe. It's not good. The EPA's decision that it does not have the authority to regulate greenhouse gases was met with criticism from environmental groups. Oh, really? But automakers have long chafed at emissions regulations they say are too restrictive and don't match consumer demand. Never mind the environment. Electric vehicle advocates, meanwhile, say the U.S. risks falling behind in the global EV race. No shit. The Environmental Protection Agency's decision to reverse its findings on the harms caused by greenhouse gases might look like a win for big gas-guzzling vehicles and a disaster for the U.S. electrical vehicle market, not to mention people, CNBC. Whatever. But critics of the move and some industry analysts argue that American auto industry can't afford to back away from too much from fuel-efficient cars and EVs. This is so dumb. The EPA is reconsidering a legal framework known as the endangerment finding for several reasons, but chief among them is its conclusion that the Clean Air Act of 1970 gave the agency authority to regulate airborne toxins that pose a direct threat to human health, not greenhouse gases, which may indirectly cause harm through the effects of climate change. Does that make sense to you? It doesn't to me. This finding helped form the basis of subsequent fuel efficiency targets, EV incentives, and a host of other federal and state policies and programs meant to decarbonize transportation. The EPA's reversal is the latest move by the Trump administration and Congress to undo rules and incentives intended to steer automakers and buyers away from fuel-burning vehicles and toward low or zero-emission vehicles, notably EVs. Last year, Congress removed federal tax credits for EVs of up to $7,500 for a new car or up to $4,000 for a used vehicle. Sales dropped dramatically in October, the month after the credits went away, according to Cox Automotive. President Donald Trump last year also signed 3 resolutions rescinding waivers the EPA had granted decades ago to states such as California, which enabled a host of air quality, climate change mitigation, and emissions rules. The zero-emission vehicle credits program in California and other states were crucial revenue sources for Tesla, as it grew from a tiny startup to one of the largest EV makers in the world. Some automakers and the industry groups that represent them have chafed at emissions regulations they consider too restrictive and too favorable to EVs, arguing that those vehicles aren't matching consumer demand. Well, that's funny because the actual X hundreds of billions of dollars that Ford, I think, said they were doing was almost exclusively for EV production. How does that work? I'll pull that story too. Arguing that those vehicles aren't matching consumer demand, U.S. EV sales peaked in September ahead of the federal incentives, ending at 10.3% of the new vehicle market, according to Cox Automotive. Blech. We appreciate the work of President Trump and Lee Zeldin. God damn it. The fuck. We appreciate the work of President Trump and Lee Zeldin to rape the natural world and address the imbalance between current emission standards and customer choice, which has fuck all to do with anything, by the way. Okay? I don't give a shit what customers want. How about that? How about get fucking used to it? God. Ford has consistently advocated for a single stable national standard that aligns with customer choice, the market's societal benefit, and American job growth. Die in hell, whoever said that. CNBC reached out to 2 other Detroit-based legacy automakers, Stellantis and General Motors, for comment. Stellantis did not respond in time for publication, and GM referred CNBC to the Alliance for Automotive Innovation, a U.S. trade group representing both American and international automakers. The alliance said Wednesday's action will, quote, correct some of the unachievable emissions regulations enacted under the previous administration. The auto industry in America remains focused on preserving vehicle choice for consumers, keeping the industry competitive, and staying on a long-term path of emissions reductions and cleaner vehicles. What? The alliance added in a statement. So we're doing both? Fuck you. The alliance has in the past year criticized state and federal rules meant to bolster EV adoption, while the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration proposed lessening corporate average fuel economy, or CAFE standards. The alliance welcomed the change. We're reviewing NHTSA's announcement, but we're glad the agency has proposed new fuel economy standards, Alliance President and CEO John Bozzella said in a December statement. We've been clear and consistent. The CAFE rules, the current CAFE rules finalized under the previous admin are extremely challenging for automakers to achieve given the current marketplace for EVs. Well, then maybe you need better incentives so that while we get through the buildup of green vehicles, green technology, at a time when the technology is more expensive, but then it lowers in price over time. We just watched a hearing a year ago, I think, on batteries and other things for EVs and other things, and the industry experts were sitting there telling us that actually things are going well in the electronic market, and what they need is additional years of subsidy so that we can get the technology to catch up with mass production and better performance. And it was very clear from those experts that that was possible and feasible and about to happen, but with taking down any support for EVs and other electronic power, electric power versus gas-based, you are basically stopping the progress. So you will never have significant EV in this world because you are not going to enable people to get through this part of the progress, which is where we have to subsidize it in order to make sure the technology can accommodate the capacity needed. Oh my God. This is the most short-sighted fucking bullshit. It makes us the dumbest country in the world. And people laugh at us, which I guess some people care about. I don't really care if I'm laughed about, but I do care about people dying or having asthma or other things or killing the planet. Sorry. Tesla, on the other hand, is one of the automakers opposed to the reconsideration of the endangerment finding. The endangerment finding and the vehicle emission standards which flow from it have provided a stable regulatory platform for Tesla's extensive investments in product development and production. Tesla wrote in a letter to the EPA, reversing the endangerment finding would also deprive consumers of choice, and extensive economic benefits have negative effects on human health and further impact the integrated North American automotive sector. Clean transportation researchers and analysts have warned that abandoning fuel efficiency goals in electric vehicles might be short-sighted given the push for cleaner transportation options around the world. All three Detroit automakers sell vehicles outside the United States and thus still need to reckon with stricter emissions regulations in other markets. In addition, the consumer case for EVs is growing ever stronger, said Alan Jen, a professor at the University of California, Davis. Go Aggies! That's my college. That's the college I went to. I mean, I graduated from there. Anyway, Davis's Electric Vehicle Research Center, battery prices have fallen, and there are about 70 models in the U.S. market compared with just a few about a decade ago, he said. Even despite this, almost kind of this war on EVs, getting rid of the subsidies, getting rid of the regulation, I think it's been pushed to a point where you're not going to see us turn totally around on EVs, Jen said. A lot of that product is commercially viable, and I think it's going to continue to grow, albeit maybe a little more slowly now. So anyway, I just wanted to let you know about that because, and actually, I think I have, let me see if I have the actual, I know I fucking saved the executive or the announcement on this. Hold on. What did I do with it? What did I do with it? What did I do with it? Oh, I didn't read to you about the pardons. I would love to read to you. Maybe I'll do that. That's something that I think can wait. Yeah, she's still not there yet. Just so you know, I'm live. Everything's on. The noise is on. Like everything. She's not there. Well, you know what? I don't have that, but I have this. Wait, how long is this? I don't even know. Oh, it's an hour. I don't want to have an hour. Okay, I'm going to have to watch that Stephen Mirren thing. I don't want to make you guys go through it. Let me watch it and kind of break it down. Break it down, 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 break it down. Break it down, break it down, break it down, break it down. Oh, here we go. Boop. This is from February 11th. Oh my God, we have all kinds of things we can read. What am I talking about? See, it's an embarrassment of riches. Have I got you guys? Appreciating you very much today, Miss Lolo. Grace Lisa, I love you so much. I appreciate you all putting up with me. Media also push the government is taking away your big gas engines. I know, which is so dumb. It's a whole truck thing. You know, it's the Ford F-150. Nobody wants to touch the Ford F-150. I don't think Ford is going to let anyone touch the Ford F-150. And if anything, they should be incentivized to make the Ford F-150 more environmentally friendly. Sorry. I love big trucks. I love old cars. I love muscle cars. The GTO is my fucking favorite car of all time. I really love cars. I don't think they need to run on gas. I have no desire to make gas. I don't give a shit. I want all the money to be put into electronic vehicles and make us, make great trucks with electronic engines. What the fuck? I mean, come on. It's so dumb. All right, let's talk about the economy. Let's give the give the F-150 a better, is that transmission or granny? I mean, you can give it a granny too. Or the EPA compliant vehicles could be built outside the USA. Oh, yeah, I wonder where. Air. I'm here. Oh, yay. Okay, what executives are saying about the K-shaped economy. That's right. Leaders across industries, from airlines to packaged foods, have said a growing divide between lower income and wealthy consumers is changing their business. That's right. Remember what I said at the beginning of the show? Everything is not what it seems. Yeah. The U.S. economy is growing, but not evenly. What began as an uneven rebound from the COVID-19 pandemic has hardened into what many economists describe as a K-shaped economy, in which higher income households pull ahead while lower income households fall further behind, right? High interest rates, rising costs, and the rapid growth of artificial intelligence could deepen those divides, economists warn. We are returning to a typical pattern of extremely high income inequality, and it now stands at a 60-year peak. Beth Ann Bavino, no, not that Bavino, chief economist at U.S. Bank, wrote in a recent report. The worry is not just where we stand now, but also whether ongoing developments will worsen the situation. I'm dying. The net worth of the top 1% of households climbed to a record share of nearly 32% of the national total in the third quarter of 2025, according to data from the Federal Reserve, the government, which started tracking household wealth in 1989. Spending patterns have also split. Households earning under $75,000 a year are spending less on discretionary categories like travel and experiences than they did in 2019, while those making more than $150,000 are spending more, according to Bank of America Institute. The commies at Bank of America. Retail sales softened in December, data released on Tuesday showed, weighed down by a slight drop in purchases of vehicles and food. More executives are acknowledging the divide and its effects on their business. Delta Airlines said in October that ticket sales for premium seats were expected to outpace those in the main cabin. The snack maker Mondelez said this month that consumers were worried about overall affordability and pulling back on snacking or shifting to value store brands. They are fed up with the price increases. They don't feel good about their personal economic outlook, Dirk Vanderput, chief executive at Mondelez, said during an earnings call. And as a consequence, snacking is being affected. Here is what some other companies have said about prices, spending, and how the K-shaped economy is affecting their businesses. Chipotle, the fast food chain, is aiming to increase foot traffic and revenue amid weak comparable sales by focusing on higher income consumers, a segment the company recently identified as its core audience, with 60% of customers from households earning above $100,000 on average. The cleaning brand Clorox, the cleaning brand, is adjusting pricing and product sizes to respond to pressure on all consumers, but especially lower income customers. Linda Rendell, the company's chief executive, said on an earnings call this month. Clorox said shoppers were trading down to smaller packages at dollar stores or buying in bulk at club stores. Yum Brands, during its latest earnings call this month, Yum Brands, which owns Taco Bell and KFC, reported transaction growth across all income levels, with particularly notable gains among higher income consumers in the last quarter. PayPal, the online payment company, announced that it would no longer commit to the specific 2027 outlook presented at last year's Investor Day. Instead, it plans to provide forecasts 1 year at a time, citing the influence of the macro factors and a K-shaped economy. Jamie Miller, the company's interim chief executive, said in a conference call this month. Those earnings calls are very important to watch or listen to. The fast food chain McDonald's, the fast food chain revived its extra value meal combos as traffic from lower income customers declined while visits from higher income customers rose double digits. Chris Kempczinski, its chief executive, described the trend as a two-tier economy. Coca-Cola, the beverage company, said in October that sales growth had been driven by higher income consumers buying premium brands, while middle and lower income shoppers remain under pressure and more focused on value. That's right. It's a terrible thing. It's not really there. It's rooms to go. Rooms to go. That's right. The rental, the insurance. It's like price gouging on renting furniture and shit. Just caught the goalie's comment. What? Wait, 32-12. 12 shots on net. 3 went in. That's pretty good. Wait, who's winning? Taking a lunch break and Liz. Oh, yeah. A lot of your frustration is from being hungry. Yeah, it makes sense. If only the trillions hoarded was used to develop a commercially viable graphene solid-state carbon battery. Yeah, that by design doesn't have battery memory and thus has magnitudes, more use cycles. Hello, there are so many smart people in the world actually trying to fucking figure this out. The last thing if this country wants to lead, if that's so fucking important to y'all, then we should be investing heavily in understanding how to make batteries more efficient, how to make cars more efficient, how to make transportation safer, how to do all of those things. If we were a leader in the world, that is what we would be doing, not this bullshit. So I'll talk to you about human rights all day long, but I'll also talk to you, because it's also related to human rights, about this motherfucking economy, which is a boondoggle. And if you trust the people giving you the data, then you're dumb. That's why you have to look below. You have to talk to the executives. You have to listen to the economists. And they won't all agree on everything. But what you do is listen to the people who are actually watching this. The economy is not the stock market. The stock market is 30 stocks. The Dow is 30 companies. 30 companies make up the Dow. To have that go to 50,000, nobody gives a shit. It eventually was going to go to 50,000, okay? Because people are fucking greedy. That's it. All right? Oh my God. Stop being stupid, chuds. Stop being stupid. Oh my God, this bitch is not going to come. I mean, Corey, can you help us? Oh, can you elucidate? Does this bitch ever come? so sorry. Oh, I'm terrible. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm a horrible person. I think I'll smoke a little pot with you while we wait for her to show up, and either she's going to show up or she won't. I'm sorry. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe I hate people who mock curling as much as Lolo hates raisins. I love curling. I don't really understand it. Okay, wait, Neil, can you answer a curling question for me while we're here? Are you supposed to get the pill? What is it called? The pill, the poop. What is it? What is that round thing that they use in curling? The puck. I don't know. What is it called? I want to bake, but I don't want to dry out my little eyeball. Oh, baby. Okay, stone. Okay, the stone. Do you win when the stone... Do you win when the stone is in the small circle? Is in the second circle? Is in the third circle? Yeah, the stone they throw. What the fuck else would I mean? What the fuck else would I mean? Like, explain to me where the stone is supposed to land in order to win. Closest to the center. Okay. All right. That makes sense. And then, but nobody seems to like overly get excited when it hits the center. Am I wrong, or are they just like chill? Like curlers are chill. Is that it? There's no curling. Well, I like my name better, the poop. The dookie. Oh my God, I'm sorry, Neil. I don't mean to make fun of your sport. I love your sport. I love your sport. As long as it bites any part of the colored rings, it's in play. Okay, so anything, but you can, and if you knock them out, then do you get extra points for knocking them out, or is it who's in the center at the end of the game? Is that what it is? Who's in the center at the end of the game? Like how many stones are not? How many stones? Yeah, the ones with the brooms don't seem chill. Okay, they're not chill. All right. But they never get excited. I mean, well, that's not true. That's a stupid statement. Of course they get excited. But I don't see them like jumping up and down every time they hit it into the center. I guess that's what I mean. Just a stone's throw away. Do you think that's what? Is that it? Is that it? Anyway, so my point is it at the end, whoever's like in the closest and has the most stones, whoever has the most balls in the center. Oh my God. Who has the most rocks closest to the center at the end of the inning, known as an end? Okay. All right, that actually really helps. It seems it's the same as bocce ball, but on ice. Okay, that makes sense. I mean, kind of. I still get a little confused. I'm a little confused as to what it would help me if the curlers got more excited every time they did something really good. I would really appreciate it if they would do that. I don't know where this cunt is. She's pooping, I guess. I don't know. The team with the stone closest to the button wins that end. The winning team is then awarded 1 point for each of its own stones lying closer to the button than the... Oh, okay. Thank you, Meowing. So all of the stones... Oh, Neil, I don't know. I love you so much. Girl, I love you. You know I'm just kidding. You know what? I hate curling haters too. Okay, I stand in solidarity with you, Neil, because you just explained it to me and now I get it. And so it makes sense that all of the stones get a point, but you get points based on how close you are to the center. That makes sense. Okay. All right. That actually really helps. I don't know. I feel very, very like curling oriented right now. So yeah, no, I don't feel dissed at all. I love you so much. I don't feel dissed. I'll stick to horseshoe throwing. I love a good game of horseshoes. Well, I don't know what to tell you. This cunt just does not want to show up. I don't know. Let me see if she's anywhere else. Like, maybe this is like one of those horror movies where they have the same scene. Oh, I know why. wait, we have action. It's because the president is also about to speak. That's why nobody knows who's going to go first. That's what it is. Hold on. I'm going to do a split screen. Oops. Oh, there we go. There's my split screen for you. Corey, you're in the way. Corey, get out of the way. Move, bitch. Get out the way. Get out the way. Get out the way. Move, bitch. Get out the way. Where are you, Corey? God damn it. Slippery little feller. Y'all a slippery little feller. Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. Okay, I'm actually just going to make you really tiny because, oops. Oh, you should be here for this, but I'm going to make you a little tinier. Okay, we're going to have you stand right over here so you're not in your girlfriend's way. All right, so this is who will have the thicker makeup. Dun, 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 dun. Wait, we've got music. Let's do some music here. Hold on. Oh, here we go. What about this? Oh, whoops, that's for later. Okay, sorry. Oh, there's this. There we go. Wait, we've got other music. Hold on. What's that? That's horror music, too. I have a lot of horror music on my soundboard. I'm just going to tell you. Hold on. Let's see. Was there another one? Oh, there's this. There we go. Let's wake up. Wake up, people. Get ready. Christy. No! Christy! Christy, Mom, here she comes. Here comes. Christy, you're looking a little weird. Crispy. 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 Crispy, no. Crispy. Crispy, no. Crispy. 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 Crispy, 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 no! Crispy, 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 no! Thank you, Jay! Make fun of fascists. Crispy, crispy, crispy.
Perfect.
No.
There we go. That'll work better. Well, good morning. Thank you all for being here. Again, I'm Kristi Noem, the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, and I've had the opportunity today to spend some time with some of your elected officials, some of those that are involved in election security here, and local leaders to discuss what we can do to make sure that we have integrity in our election systems going forward. I want to thank some of them that came today. Justin Heap is here. He's the recorder of Maricopa County. I want to thank him for sharing some wisdom with me on what we can do to partner together. Also, State Representative John Gillette of the 30th District is here too, and I want to thank him for all of the information that he shared with me. Jennifer Wright is the former Assistant Arizona Attorney General for the Elections Unit, and she's here as well and shared her wisdom and work over the years to make sure that when people go to vote in an election that they can trust that that vote counted and that they had the chance to cast their support behind the candidate that they wanted to. You know, at the end of the Constitutional Convention in 1787, Benjamin Franklin was asked out on the street by a woman what kind of a government that we would have. And he replied to her, "A republic, ma'am, if you can keep it." And that's what our job is. For 250 years, it's been our American duty to maintain our republic and to make sure that our elections are secure. Republics depend on the confidence of their citizens that when they vote, that their vote matters, that it counts. And our elections are essential to make sure that that confidence stays there, that they know and trust that the system is fair. Since returning to office, President Trump has made election integrity a priority. He's made it a cornerstone of his Make America Great Again agenda. And the truth is that our election system needs a lot of work. From state to state throughout the country,
there's actually very little election fraud. And this has been proven over and 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 over again. So I'm sorry. This is a boondoggle, and you are being lied to because this cunt is going to be complicit in trying to keep this regime in power. And I'm sorry, but that's where we are as a country now. I know no one wants to believe it. But there has been no election fraud that is meaningful in the least to attack elections, period.
See challenges and things that can be improved on. And although the Constitution gives states the primary responsibility for running their elections, Congress also gives authorities and duties to the federal government. Now, as the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, those authorities lie within my department, and the responsibility lies with me. I have the responsibility of not just pointing out different vulnerabilities that we may see in our election systems, but also with making sure that we're putting forward mitigation measures that can be enacted at the state and local level to make sure that our elections are run correctly, that the votes are counted and tabulated, and that the people that were elected are put into those positions. As President Trump said, we will either fix our nation's election issues or we will no longer have a nation to save. Right now, America has a golden opportunity, a wonderful opportunity to show that we are serious about securing our elections and that we care about making sure that we preserve our sacred republic. Earlier this week, the House of Representatives passed the SAVE Act. This is federal legislation that does some common sense, straightforward things. First of all, it requires a photo ID in order to vote in federal elections. It also requires proof of citizenship in order to register to vote. And it requires states to remove non-citizens from their voter rolls. These measures are extremely popular with American citizens. American people have common sense, and they want to see reforms like this put into their elections. In fact, a Gallup poll was recently released that shows 84% of Americans support a photo ID when they go to vote, that 83% support proving your citizenship when you go to register to vote. A Pew Research poll showed that 95% of Republicans and 71% of Democrats agree with voter ID. There's a reason why more than 80% of Americans support these.
Okay. She's mincing words for you. Okay. She's mincing words. All right. And those polls may be accurate because Democrats do support the fact that when you register to vote, you do present your ID. Not when you vote every time per se. I mean, maybe you do. Yeah. But you do mail-in ballots too. Right? And there are systems in place that have been tested over time to see if there is fraud within the identification process, within everything. Yeah, this is the puppy shooter. So I'm going to tell you right now, she can name those statistics, which are true. Those are opinions of Americans, but that does not interpret into what she is doing, which is trying to manipulate elections and manipulate ID requirements so that it makes it impossible. Your military ID will not be sufficient ID to vote under the SAVE Act. Your military ID will not be sufficient to register to vote under the SAVE Act. So don't give control of your elections to a compromised regime full of pedophiles and pedophile supporters. I'm sorry, but I'm still stuck on that part. You know, I mean, this is it. This is where we're at. Okay? Yikes. The opinion of the people is also dynamic and all too prone to influence by propagandists getting them to support things against their own interests. Absolutely. And those quotations in and of themselves are not related to her idea of erection in security. They're just not. They are just not. Period.
Measures. And that's because they work and they're common sense and they build trust into the system. It's common sense that our elections should belong to the American people, that they should be the ones who get to vote, whose votes are counted, that they get one vote, not more, not less. It's common sense to make sure that foreign nationals don't vote in our elections, don't elect our leaders, and have a say in how our country runs. They don't and should not be allowed to be trampling on the voice of the American people, and will no longer allow American citizens to be disenfranchised, to have their voices suppressed by criminals, by hostile foreign actors, and by illegal aliens that shouldn't be here in this country. It's a fact that non-citizens have been voting in our elections.
No, it isn't. And if they do vote, it's under the auspices of the local. Like, for example, non-citizens can vote in local elections in many places because they're impacted by local elections in many places. People without documentation are not allowed to vote in a federal election. It's not happening. I know, again, the propaganda tells you it is, but if you look beneath, if you actually listen to things like we do here on this show and listen to the disbarments of Trump lawyers who tried to push that illegals were voting in federal election in Georgia, if you bothered to really listen and look at the data around voting by non-citizens, then you would know what she is saying is false. And that the fraud instances that we've heard have been from the GOP. The guy in the villages, people voting for their dead spouses. They have mostly, those adjudicated cases have primarily been Republican. In fact, I can't even think of one or two Democrat voters. You guys are the drama. Y'all are the drama. Okay? That's it. All right. And guess what? Mima, if she can't find her motherfucking birth certificate, is fucked. So, Chuds, you're impacted by this too. You stupid idiots. Now, not that I care if you vote or not, because frankly, I don't even give a shit.
They've been registered and they have voted from state to state. For example, one of the most recent individuals that we've talked about is Ian Andre Roberts. He was an illegal alien from Guyana that was arrested by ICE while serving in Des Moines, Iowa as the school district superintendent. Perhaps you remember hearing about that arrest. Despite him being here illegally in this country, he was registered to vote in Maryland. He had a long rap sheet also of criminal charges, including narcotics possession, second and third degree possession of a weapon, and criminal possession of a forgery instrument. In Coldwater, Kansas.
I'm sorry, what? Is that your very terrible criminal history? Possession, lower level weapons charge. I mean, I'm sorry. That sounds like one of your folks. That sounds like Corey. Corey probably could catch those charges if he really tried. Okay. So go fuck yourself, Crispy.
We had an illegal alien that was able to vote and was even elected as a mayor. He was charged by the Kansas Attorney General last fall for voting without being qualified and to election perjury charges, thanks to assistance from the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services Agency. As it stands, current guidelines for the National Voter Registration Act effectively stop states from going forward and checking citizenship during registration.
Nobody stops states from doing anything. States run their elections. They decide how they're going to do it. All of this stuff has come through in the myriad lawsuits that Rudy Giuliani tried to bring for the 2020 election. Throughout all of those lawsuits, you can see that each and every fucking claim of ballots in a river, dead people voting, that was denounced and discredited. So if somebody wants to debate me on election data, motherfucking hit the link, okay? Because I know this data. I know the 2020 election. I know who was involved and what they were saying and how they were lying. So don't even fucking come for me. And I'll tell you why you're a fucking asshole. And you're wrong. So there.
Save America Act would fix this. It would make sure that we close those loopholes and that we ensure in American elections only Americans vote.
To vote. It disenfranchises voters. It especially disenfranchises voters who are poor, because many people find it difficult to A, track down their documents, B, get the real ID or all of the various documents that they are requiring. In fact, I read a good article. Oh, shoot. God, I don't know if I pulled this article. God, I hope I did. And it talked about the reasons. Oh, shit. Talked about the reasons that voter ID is problematic. Hold on. Oh, man. I really wish I kept this. God damn it. God damn it. God damn it. Wait, what was the term I just an election? Oh, save act. Damn it. Shoot. I'm going to find that article. I'll let her talk, but I'm going to find that article because if you have not called your senator, I will call my senators, Schiff and Padilla, and let them know to vote no on the SAVE Act. And I'm really hoping. Gotta delete fast to miss the screen. Wait, she is straight up reading from a script. She doesn't have a clear idea what this means. No, anyone with real questions in the audience could tear this down. Yeah, exactly. It's so dumb. We need to send Rep. Henry Cuellar packing for voting for the SAVE Act along with Fetterman. You know, there's only one thing worse than a GOP, and that's a fucking fake-ass Democrat. That's what I say. There ain't nothing worse than a GOP. It's why until the more recent Supreme Court Voting Rights Act was always based on impact, not intent. That's right, since intent is almost always impossible to prove, but impact can still be racist. Yep. I'll find that article.
Assert that the Save America Act will somehow hurt American voters. That's just absurd and absolutely not true. One of the claims that they have made in criticizing this bill is that they say that newly married women would be disenfranchised because they've had a name change. Well, there's many women out there, including myself, who've been married and changed our names when we re-registered to vote. And likewise, the idea that this bill would make it impossible for U.S. service members to vote if they're deployed overseas, well, that's completely false as well. For all of those procedures that are in place today continue to stay that way after this act is passed and signed into law. They also say that this act requires voters to have a U.S. passport to register. That's not true. There's multiple options that are given to provide proof of citizenship, including military ID, government ID, photo ID with a proof of birth and location.
I found it. I'm just going to, will she be changing her name? I'm married too, and I fuck this guy next to me. You see, you don't have to be single to fuck multiple guys. I do it all the time. I'm just kidding. I don't want to sex shame her. I don't care about if she's having sex. It's probably poor sex. That's what I'm most upset about. Okay, hold on. I'm sorry to be all over the place, but all this stuff is so fucking important. It's kind of crazy. And yes, there's going to be a trivia show tonight. You're not going to want to miss it. Because I'm going to guarantee you this trivia show is going to blow your motherfucking mind. So make sure you come to the trivia show tonight. She is married. Yeah, she's married. Betterment is a dino. Wait, what does that mean? Fetterman is a dino. Clip that as evidence when it turns out she's wrong. Oh, Fetterman. Yeah, he is a Democrat in name only. Well, let me show you this article. Okay, this is from the Bipartisan Policy Center, so a think tank, 5 things to know about the SAVE Act, February 2nd, 2026. Introduced by Rep. Chip Roy, the Safeguard America Voter Eligibility Act requires voters to provide documentary proof of citizenship at the time of registration. Both parties agree that voter registration should permit all eligible citizens and only eligible citizens to register and vote in federal elections. Although instances of non-citizen registration and voting are rare, the SAVE Act's goal of ensuring that only citizens can register to vote is important. But there are easier, more cost-effective ways to improve citizenship verification that don't create new barriers for eligible voters. Here's what you need to know about requiring proof of citizenship to register to vote. Citizenship is already a requirement to vote, and instances of non-citizen voting are rare. Many eligible citizens don't have access to documentary proof of citizenship. There are better ways to verify citizenship that put the responsibility on the government, not voters. The SAVE Act could have unintended consequences for election officials and election administration. The SAVE Act needs more time and resources to be implemented well, if at all. In effect, the SAVE Act introduces a documentation requirement for a law that has existed for decades. The Illegal Immigration Reform and Immigrant Responsibility Act of 1996 explicitly prohibits non-citizens from voting in federal elections. To do so, the SAVE Act amends the National Voter Registration Act of 1993 by introducing a requirement for individuals to provide proof of U.S. citizenship when registering to vote in federal elections. Registration and voting attempts by non-citizens are routinely investigated and prosecuted by the appropriate authorities, and there is no evidence that attempts at voting by non-citizens has ever been significant enough to impact any election's outcome. In fact, there's ample evidence to indicate that registration and voting by non-citizens is few and far between. Utah, for example, performed a citizenship review of its entire voter registration list from April 2025 through January 2026. After a time-intensive multi-step review of more than 2 million registered voters, they identified only one confirmed instance of non-citizen registration and 0 instances of non-citizens voting. Additionally, many state offices began using USCIS systematic alien verification for entitlements program in 2025 to verify voter citizenship. Records from this program show that just 0.04% of voter verification cases are returned as non-citizens. So there you go. There's a little chart in case you didn't understand what I just read. The actual rate of non-citizens may be even smaller than this data suggests. Travis County, Texas, for example, reported that 25% of the voters that USCIS flagged as potential non-citizens had already provided proof of citizenship when registering to vote. There we go. According to the U.S. Department of State, the government agency that Marco runs, examples of primary citizenship evidence include a birth certificate, a U.S. passport, a consular report of birth abroad, a certificate of citizenship, or a naturalization certificate. While real IDs are often assumed to be a reliable proxy, I assumed that and I was wrong. They do not definitively establish citizenship. I was so wrong about that. Although at least one of these documents are in theory available to most citizens, not all voters have them readily available. According to recent studies, that'd be data, 9% of eligible voters do not have easy access to documentary proof of citizenship. 52% of registered voters do not have an unexpired passport with their current legal name. 11% of registered voters do not have access to their birth certificate. Additionally, birth certificates often lack information that matches a person's current identity. For instance, someone who has changed their name through marriage or court order may need to present a third document, such as marriage certificate, to join their proof of citizenship, e.g. birth certificate, with their proof of identity, for example, a driver's license, further decreasing the likelihood that a voter will have the appropriate documentation on hand to successfully register. Even if I had to ask my ex-husband for my divorce decree to change my name with Social Security, I didn't have a copy of my divorce decree, and the state of California could not give me a copy of it because those records had been destroyed. I shit you not. I spent a year trying to get my name changed with Social Security, and I had to go to my ex-husband, who is a lovely person, and we're dear friends, and he was able to give me a copy of the divorce decree so I could get my name changed. So guess what, people? This happens a lot more than one might think. Even if voters were to provide documentary proof of citizenship, verifying the authenticity of those documents is an inherently complex task, one that election officials and motor vehicle departments often do not have the resources or training to perform. Kansas offers a case study of how a documentary proof requirement would likely play out in practice. So does Georgia, and so does Wyoming. So there are state cases where this has been tried and failed. Just letting you know. Before the law took effect, non-citizen registration in Kansas was exceedingly rare, accounting for 0.002% of registered voters. After adoption, the documentary proof of citizenship requirement prevented roughly 31,000 eligible citizens, or 12% of all applicants, from registering to vote. In short, the law prevented far more citizens from registering to vote than non-citizens, you motherfucking idiots. There are better ways to verify citizenship. Recent voter citizenship verification proposals tend to take one of two approaches: front-end verification, where the burden is on the voter to prove their citizenship by providing documentary proof to a state or local official. This is the approach the SAVE Act takes. Back-end verification, where election or other government officials, such as those of the Department of Motor Vehicles, consult existing government data to verify a voter's citizenship status. Both models have trade-offs. Front-end verification risks burdening eligible voters who lack ready access to proof of citizenship, while back-end verification hinges on the accuracy, completeness, and interoperability of government databases. Something I thought was supposed to be fixed with Doggy, but no. Between the two approaches, we encourage policymakers to prioritize back-end verification over front-end because it places the responsibility on government officials rather than voters to prove citizenship. Under a back-end approach, it's essential that states give voters identified as potential non-citizens ample opportunity to prove their citizenship, given that many government databases are outdated or otherwise incorrect. Instead of automatic cancellation after a short period, BPC recommends election officials place voters flagged as potential non-citizens into a challenged or pending verification status. Under this approach, a voter would remain registered but required to affirm their citizenship before they can vote again. For voters who register by mail, the SAVE Act requires documentary proof of citizenship to be delivered in person to an election office, effectively nullifying the benefits of mail registration. At the same time, the legislation does not clearly specify how documentary proof must be submitted for online registration, leaving election officials without clear guidance or acceptable delivery methods. This ambiguity increases the risk of inconsistent implementation across jurisdictions and places election officials at the point of making high-stakes judgment calls without clear statutory direction. The SAVE Act also exposes election officials to heightened legal and personal risk. It establishes criminal penalties for officials who register an applicant who fails to present documentary proof of citizenship, even if that applicant is in fact a U.S. citizen. The bill also authorizes private individuals to sue election officials under the same circumstances. This is a big one. Together, these provisions could encourage overly cautious behavior, for example, not accepting applications to register when an election official isn't familiar with the type of documentation provided, and further strain an election workforce already facing high turnover and burnout. The SAVE Act requires significant changes to each step of the voter registration process: how voters register, how their identities are verified, and how list maintenance is performed on an ongoing basis. These changes would be costly and time-consuming, taking months, if not years, to achieve. Despite the administrative difficulty of implementation, the SAVE Act prioritizes expediency over precision. The Act becomes effective on the day of enactment, giving states no time to adjust processes. It also requires U.S. Election Assistance Commission offer implementation guidance to states within 10 days of enactment. Further, the SAVE Act offers no funding to states to assist with implementation costs. Oh, I mean, what the fuck is going on here?
In fact, if an individual has no documentation, they have the option of appearing at an election office and providing an affidavit stating that they are a citizen of this country. Now, another ridiculous conspiracy theory that we've heard is that the federal government will remove people from state voter rolls. Well, that's just simply not true. That state and local election officials do the registration, and they maintain these lists going forward. We just help them do their job and make sure that they're doing it correctly. Each of the arguments that have been laid out to criticize this bill are baseless speculation from the radical left because they want illegal aliens to vote in our elections. They want to disenfranchise American citizens by telling them that their votes don't matter. There's only one reason that anyone would oppose this bill, and that's because they would want to cheat. They want illegal people and aliens in this country to be able to vote for them and to rob the United States citizens of their vote. And that's why they resist us at every single level when we're trying to deport people back to their home countries or stop them from committing crimes against the American people. That's why they do not support voter ID, proof of U.S. citizenship, or clean voter rolls. That's why the Save America Act is absolutely critical.
That's just an abject lie. How is our own government saying this about us? How dare you? How dare you in a free society tell me that because I disagree with you, you stupid fucking cunt, you puppy shooting fucking cunt pedo protector. Somebody should check her hard drive. I am in the right. I am standing up for this country. I care deeply about the vote. I care deeply about people's access. I actually would be fine with non-citizens voting in federal elections, not because they're going to vote for Democrats, but because they live here and they're impacted. Okay? People who live here and who are impacted should have a vote. Sorry. That's the way I feel. That's the way I feel.
Critical to our country's future, because without secure elections, we lose what makes our country so great. And then when we lose that, we lose our country altogether.
We'll never go anywhere.
Almost 200 years ago in 1830.
I'll never come without secure erections.
33, a Supreme Court Justice Joseph Story warned us with this. And he warned us this about illegal entry into our country. If aliens in place for years to come. May God continue to bless this great state, the great people who are working to... I'll come to you next.
Oh, wait.
Emphasizing election security in place for years to come.
Here's the question and answer.
May God continue to bless this great state, the great people who are working to make sure that everybody's vote matters and that it counts. And may God continue to bless the great United States of America. Thank you. With that, I will open it up to any questions that you may have. Yes.
Arizona already requires proof for citizenship, and there have been repeated audits that have found that there is no widespread fraud happening in Arizona. Do you worry that emphasizing election security threats without evidence could undermine public confidence? And how do you ensure that messaging doesn't further any misinformation?
We have a SAVE program that is available to the state of Arizona that the state of Arizona could ensure through their Secretary of State that every county has access to and allow them to go back in and verify those individuals that are on the voter rolls today to make sure they should be voting in the elections that come forward. That's what I would encourage the Secretary of State to do, and I'll be sending out mitigation measures that can help build promise back into that system to maintain the critical infrastructure that is our elections.
Secretary, are you still in charge of the mass deportation campaign, or is Homeland?
I'm still in charge of the Department of Homeland Security. That includes all 23 different agencies under our umbrella, including ICE and CBP, but also FEMA, TSA, Secret Service, the Coast Guard, many, many more.
Secretary, why?
Yes, over here.
Secretary,
why?
This recently posted a video regarding the DOJ wanting more information on Arizonan voters. What are your thoughts on this?
I think that would be a wonderful opportunity for him to be transparent and to ensure and promise the people of Arizona that they can trust their elections and that when they show up on election day, they'll get to vote without problems or hassles, that they'll be prepared to make sure that vote counts and that the correct results are announced.
Secretary,
That's right here. I'll come to you next.
You offered a couple of examples from Kansas, Maryland, and Iowa and such. Can you offer us any this kind of fraud in Arizona?
Oh, I'm sure there's many of them, but we want to make sure that we talked about several of them this morning at our roundtable that we had. We talked about individuals that may be registered to vote in this state but truly live in another state. I understand that you have mobile homes and boats on lakes that individuals may have as their voter.
Hey, guess what? Snowbirds exist. That's right. Snowbirds exist. People who live in one area and then live in another area part of the year. Guess what? That's happened for decades. I mean, maybe hundreds of years. People have moved. Election systems account for the moves. Okay? I'm sorry. I know you want this to be this big, like, conspiracy that all of a sudden the snowbirds are like the drama. I'm sorry. All of the election systems throughout the states accommodate for seasonal residents. They accommodate for colleges and universities. They accommodate for all of that shit. So she's trying to scare you with disinformation. Disinformation. We'll probably win in this court too, but it doesn't matter because we win in court and then they just keep doing what they're going to do.
Registration address, but not necessarily that is where they live. They live in another state, such as California or on the East Coast. Those kind of, right here, sorry.
I don't think anyone is not able to contact the Secretary of State or the state, whatever, and remove people from voter rolls. I'm sorry. It might be one, people have their own budget cycles and things, so maybe they make decisions and do it at different times of the year, but nobody is telling people they can't remove people from voter rolls. Stop it. It's a fucking lie.
Why choose to do this press conference this way? Your agency is about to run out of funding. We were just here in Arizona last week at the border, and obviously you bused all of us to a secure facility, and I'm curious as to why choose to do this press conference this way on something that doesn't seem top secret.
Oh, my goodness. This is our critical infrastructure. So one of the things I think is good for all of you to know is that the Department of Homeland Security's mission is to defend the homeland, which means that even on our worst day, should we have an attack, a terrorist threat, if something disastrous happened to our country, the agency of FEMA under the Department of Homeland Security is responsible for running our government, which means that according to law, the authorities that are under this department is maintaining our critical infrastructure, which means it's my job to make sure that our electrical grid is sustained and intact and operational, that we ensure that we protect our cybersecurity. Any kind of manipulation or threats we face on anything that's said or done on the internet is my responsibility. Our water systems, making sure that people have the water that they need for their communities to live and take care of their families. And elections is another one of those critical infrastructure responsibilities that I have as well. And I would say that many people believe that it may be one of the most important things that we need to make sure we trust is reliable, and that when it gets to election day that we've been proactive to make sure that we have the right people voting, electing the right leaders to lead this country through the days that we have, knowing that people can trust it. That's why you're here. For me, I do press conferences because I want to be transparent and let you ask questions and have conversations. But I hope that you do recognize that in the past, your state has been an absolute disaster on elections, that your leaders have failed you dramatically by not having systems that work, by disenfranchising Americans who wanted to vote, that had to stand in lines for hours because machines failed or software failed. There's no state that could use more improvement than Arizona. And you should be asking all of your leaders what they're doing to fix the system. What are they doing to make sure that individuals in this state can trust that their vote is going to be taken, that it's going to be counted, and that it's going to matter to make sure the right people are in charge? Yes. Right over here? Yes.
In Arizona, we already require proof of citizenship to register to vote, but we also allow members of our tribal nations to use their enrollment documents to vote. Under the SAVE Act, they wouldn't be able to do that.
The tribal IDs are recognized. Tribal IDs.
But most tribes don't have tribal IDs, not with photos and places of birth. They
There's many different options that can be used. Now, remember, the SAVE Act only says that you need to prove your citizenship when you register to vote. It does not say that you have to prove your citizenship and able to go and vote. When you go vote on that day, you need to have a photo ID. And many times in Arizona here, you do have that requirement on your voter rolls. However, I understand that you need to go back and clean up your voter rolls. We have a program through the Department of Homeland Security that's called the SAVE program that your Secretary of State and your governor can use today to clean up voters on your rolls that shouldn't be there. Maybe people who've passed away, people that aren't citizens, people that don't live here. And that would make sure that in your next election, when people are casting their votes, they know they're voting for the right decisions and that those votes are counted and they're counted appropriately and someone else.
Don't get it twisted. This bitch has not thought of anything. None of the cabinet members are the masterminds at all. The cabinet members are expendable sycophants. That's exactly what the cabinet members are. Period. Full stop. It is either to keep people like Howard Nuttlicker quiet or to give this bitch thank you for the blowjobs. But literally, this is nothing. This is Russ Vogt. This is Stephen Miller. This is the Council on National Policy. This is Leo Leonard, this is, all of the people. This is oligarchs. This is Peter Thiel. This is all the people that are funding the arms of this government that are telling this cunt what is going to happen and what she needs to say and what the talking point is to stick on. And she's really good at it. I mean, they're all pretty good at just sticking to the talking points, even as they're protecting a pedophile who raped 13-year-old children and hit them in the face, who had a 12-year-old and a 13-year-old with their mouths on Trump's erect penis, and when he wasn't happy, he pushed them off. That's what this woman is supporting. That's what she supports. She supports a man who got fellatio from 2 children and got mad that they weren't doing it right and pushed them away. Sorry. That's what she's supporting. That's what she's covering up for. This entire thing is to make sure that this actual cabal gets away with it, and furthermore gets away with future crimes by getting rid of all the protections that allow us to question what's happening in the government. Yeah, we do. Jenny's a friend. I know people know Sarah. I don't know Sarah, but we do. Jim Stewartson is a big friend too. And we have a lot of great people in our world who are really smart. Dave Troy is a friend. Heidi Kuda is a friend. Jackie Singh is a friend. Like we have a lot of great friends around us, including Jenny and Sarah and other people. So this is the people. This is the people in our neighborhood. Oh, do. Yeah, you've pretty much hit on the Jenny Cohn contingent. Gal squad here. Very happy. I know they're all busy. Yeah. Can Jenny please come and explain? Well, actually, we don't really even need Jenny to explain it. We can talk about ES&S and all that. I can read Jenny's work. But yes, we definitely love Jenny here and Sarah and all the amazing people that have worked so hard to uncover the bullshit behind all these little machinations. And it turns out Jim Stewartson was right about everything. That's right. Go run and tell the world. The Russian Duma. Anyway, all right, enough of her. She's done. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit what else is going to come out of this fucking pie hole. This Nazi pie hole she has. She can go fuck herself. Hey, girl, you can go fuck yourself. We don't like you. Texas uses ES&S? Yeah, who owns that now? Who owns ES&S now? I don't even know. I don't know. But you know what else? A MAGA owns Dominion voting systems. How about that? A MAGA just bought it last year. That's right. So maybe now they're not safe. There's too many things happening today. There are too many things happening today. Anyway, oh my God, almost 4 hours. And we're going to do a show tonight. I got to go take a big old nap because we're going to have a show tonight. And you're not going to want to miss it. Oh, they were always right wing? Oh, I did not realize that. But still, I don't think, did we have, okay, I'm not going to get into that conversation now. But eventually we can have a conversation about voting machines. But that is trauma for your girl, okay? I really spent it in the trenches in 2020 and beyond. So I have a little PTSD when it comes to 2020 election data, but I'll go there. No worries. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. All right. So that's it for me for today, or at least for this morning. I'll be back tonight at 6:30 Pacific, 9:30 Eastern. Big old dump. No, I'm not going to take a big old dump. I'm going to take a big old nap. Yeah. But I will be back tonight. Oh, yeah. 2000 election worse than 2020. Well, maybe. I don't know. It's all fucked now, right? Hi, Scotty. I love you, Scott Samuelson. I'm so glad to see you. So I will see you tonight. And there's a very special, very, very special guest hosting trivia tonight. You don't want to miss it. We have a very special guest hostess for trivia tonight. So please come back, 6:30. There will be a surprise guest tonight. I'm very excited. I can't take it. It might be. I don't know. No, it's not. She is here, but no. She's not here, but she'll be here eventually. But yeah, no, very excited guest tonight. I'm not going to tell you. You're just going to have to show up. Blah. Helen Mirren's always here. Did someone say Helen Mirren? Did you? Who's calling my name? Who's calling Helen Mirren's name? Neil? Where are you? Neil? That's Helen Mirren, just in case you know. Yeah, Neil named her, so yeah. Hi, Neil. How are you doing today? I really love you. All right, that's Helen Mirren. No, Jane Fonda. Oh, Jane Fonda. No, my other crush is not going to be here tonight. I'm sorry, but you know what? You're going to be really excited to see who's here tonight, so you're not going to want to miss it. Okay. Okay, Helen, he said hi to you. And so she's okay. I wish it was Jane Fonda. Maria Ressa, would that be amazing? I think I'd be the world's worst interviewer because I would just be fangirling. Craig Unger, my other crush. God, let's just go down the list of all my crushes. Sam Elliott. Magruta. Ruta. Hey, listen, Ruta is really disappointing me. Can I just tell? Oh, yeah, there's a trivia board. Yeah, trust and believe. Okay, anyway, I got to go. Come on, you guys. I got to go eat something. Ursula Wunderbar. Yeah. Oh, das ist sehr gut. Oh, ich liebe Ursula Wunderbar. Yeah, I do. I love her. Okay, I gotta go. Stop it. You guys are really, really getting me in my voices. Okay, I love you so much. I will see you tonight, hopefully. And have a great Friday. If I don't see you, hopefully I'll see you for movies tomorrow night on Discord. But this is Lolo, and I am out the fuck of here. Goodbye.